Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Bargain Bin, a show about speedrunning games all under $20. I'm Midnight Vesper, and I'm your host for this show. If you're new here, well, here's how the show works. For more current/digital games, we'll be using digital stores like Steam, GOG, itch.io, Ubisoft, Epic, etc. to look at the list/MSRP price. For retro games, we'll be using the website pricecharting.com and looking at the loose price of the game. We do not count any sales or discounts as they vary from time of purchase. Couple announcements real quick. Just a quick reminder, Summer Games Done Quick 2022 game submissions are almost closed. We have just a couple of hours left, not days, hours. It ends tonight. So if you want to go ahead and get those submissions in, you can find more information at gamesdonequick.com. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, hello YouTube, you can head on over to twitch.tv/gamesdonequick. If you're interested in checking out our live content starting most weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. And of course, your subs, gift subs, Prime Gaming subs, and bits help support our weekly hotfix content. Please consider supporting our daily content if you enjoy these hotfix shows. And hey, if you're going to end up using one of those Prime Gaming subs or gift subs, I believe you get some of the new sub emotes, if I'm correct. Or not sub emotes, but yeah. Words, hard. If you have any ideas for your one-off show or any one-off events, you can go to gamesdonequick.com/hotfix to submit those ideas. And of course, we have our brand new highlights channel. Games Done Quick Highlights is a channel that features highlights of our GDQ hotfix shows. Use the !highlights command to learn more about those highlights. And of course, for today's Bargain Bin, I wanted to showcase a little bit of some great indie games. 3, actually, to be exact. Some you may have heard, some that you will love by the end of our show. So we got 3 games. We got Flynn, Son of Crimson, and Signs of the Sojourner coming up. But right now, we have Ape Out, the Devolver classic Ape Out. And Osborne over here is ready to showcase it. Hey, Osborne, are you ready to go bananas for Ape Out?
I sure am, Midnight Vesper. Thank you so much for having me on this show. Hello, everyone. I'm Osborne, and today we're going to be playing Ape Out Warpless. It is an indie game that came out in 2019, if I remember correctly. Someone probably correct me on that in the chat if anyone from the community is watching right now. However, I absolutely love this game. It is currently $15 on Steam, which, first off, I bought it for $25. What? Okay, and second of all, we're a very small community, so if after seeing this run, you are interested in running this game, please come join us. Look us up on Spirit.com, join our Discord. We're going to be lucky to have you. And so, as we come into this menu, you can see there are 4 main albums here, and we're just going to go straight through them. And so timing will begin when I hit start on this first album. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So the main premise behind Ape Out is that every single level in this game is randomly generated each time that you play it. There are certain exceptions, there are certain hard-coded obstacles with each and every time that you play the game. However, for the most part, everything that you're going to be doing is completely reactive. It's RNG, the way that the enemies react, the way that the levels are oriented, everything like that. And starting off right here, there is technically a time save that you could do. However, it's insanely difficult. And what that is as you saw when I pushed those 3 enemies into the wall, the opening credits popped up. And theoretically, if you could just walk through this entire first level without killing an enemy, you can just not have those credits pop up, and they don't pop up in the next level or anything like that. So that is a small time save that you could take advantage of. However, it is insanely difficult to not get hit or to not kill an enemy in this first level without it going detrimentally wrong. And so in each level, you have 3 hit points that get replenished every time you go into a new level. And once you do that, you die, you have to start the level over again, and the seed actually changes itself. And so you can't memorize the layout or anything like that. It's going to be completely reactive, completely new, even if you die. And right here, we are already introduced to 3 of the main enemies in this game. The first one is the riflemen, those white guys, and then the guys in the blue vests are our shotgun enemies. They're heavier, and so if you push them into another enemy, they won't die. You have to push them into an enemy that's the same weight as them, or just straight into a wall. And so they are just, and so they're not going to just die immediately like that. You have to push them into something that weighs the same as them. And then we have the bomb enemies. The bomb enemies that we got introduced to right here are the easiest enemies in the game to die to. That was almost a pretty good example of what I mean. If you are in range of their explosion, you will die in one hit. Any explosion in this game is an instant kill, with certain exceptions that we will talk about once we get later into the run. However, it seems as though we've been given pretty good RNG for the most part. Once you get to the ends of these levels, you can actually just kind of hope that an enemy doesn't hit you and just keep going to the end, because especially if you haven't gotten hit before, and so that will be a small time save that you can have throughout the run. This level right now is not giving you the best RNG. Of course, the perfect RNG that you want is just a seed that will let you go straight from the beginning to the end of the level, just straight left to right. And you want to try to avoid as much up and down movement as possible. And yeah, that's essentially the perfect RNG seed that you want to have. But right here, we're going to go out of side A and go straight into side B.
I love the music, how it's so percussive.
It is. It's nothing but percussion. It's all the music in this game is pretty percussive, and it's reactive as well.
That's a great concept, music-wise. So simplistic, yet so genius.
Yes, of course. And in this next level, the music will not start until you actually get hit by an enemy. Until you hit an enemy, I'm sorry. And then, right here, we're going to go straight here. And we're going to get introduced to our first In the Dark sequence. The In the Dark sequences, the enemies will actually react faster as long as you're within their cone of light. And it's pretty detrimental if you can get hit by them multiple times, because, once you get hit 3 times, you're just done. And in between these sections, in the hallways, you can see that I'm actually doing a thing called butt sliding, in which I put my right stick at a 45-degree angle, and once that happens, for some reason, when you in this game, you can actually get pushed away from a wall if you walk towards it. And if you walk at it at a specific angle, you can walk towards it. You can get pushed away from it and also pushed forward at a specific angle. And so those hallway transitions are like the perfect length that I can get a speed boost throughout the entire level, like right here, as you can see. It's not too precise. It's not that hard. But yeah.
The dance for the bell.
Yep, exactly. Bit of a photosensitivity warning. There's gonna be flashing lights in 3, 2, 1. There you go. And now that we are out of the dark, in the dark sequences, we can just go straight into this section. Once again, as you can see, the enemies didn't start reacting until the music didn't start until they started interacting with the enemy. However, if an enemy kills another enemy, then the music will also start. Like, you don't have to be the reason that an enemy dies in order for the music to begin. But as you can see here, we're just gonna go straight into the end of album 1. And okay, I was hoping that an enemy would have really bad aim, but unfortunately they did not happen. As you can see here, when I'm opening the doors, there's a bit of a speed tech that I'm doing, in which the doors are actually like ran by sound cues. And so every time that you open a door, there's gonna be 4 ticks, and the 4th tick will always be delayed. And the way to get rid of that delay is by letting go and re-grabbing the door. And so you're gonna be see me do that a lot throughout the run. And here in this last hallway is going to be the end of album 1. And let's just really hope that we do not get a bomb enemy, because the bomb enemies are like really, really bad to deal with in this hallway, because they're in like confined spaces. Except if it's something like that. Just depending on how it is, it's going to be really detrimental to your run.
So I did see a quick question about this game. When did you discover this game? Like when it came out, or was it later on, or did you do like a day one, buy? So
the way that I discovered this game is I I had always kind of had in my radar when I got into speedrunning, primarily through IGN Devs Reactor world record holder Bowden had his run featured on IGN Devs React to speedruns, and so I found it through there. And one day I was just like, I kind of want to get into a new speedrun, and I wanted to get something to a bit different than what I usually speedrun, which was like first-person puzzle platformer stuff. And so I decided to check this one out, and I got hooked on it immediately, especially because this game is really, really fun to just replay over and over again because of the music and the art style. It's addicting, really. And so in this second album, we get introduced to another enemy called the Melvins. The Melvins are like the most annoying enemy in this game. They're like the green-haired guys that will, the green-haired guys that you see right there, they're very small. And so they're going to, and so whenever you run away from them, they're going to run towards you, and whenever you want to run towards them, they're going to run away from you. And they're just like incredibly annoying to deal with, especially later in the game when they come in packs and they're in like really small and confined spaces. It's absolutely annoying. And one thing that is very, very important in this level is dead ends. It's the first level like this one, and that one. It's introducing dead ends. And so any kind of checkerboarded room is a dead end. And so any kind of room that has like lines going through, like a pattern of lines going through, you can just walk straight through to the other side. And you can just go straight through and not have to worry about any of the enemies. And the reason that dead ends kind of exist is because the developers are just like, we want dead ends to be more conducive to like an office space. It's kind of like you're a gorilla, you're walking into an office room, and you're like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to be here, and then you like walk back out. But in a casual setting, it makes perfect sense. It actually even makes the game more difficult. But in a speedrun setting, it's very annoying to deal with. But we try to adjust anyway. And we do get introduced to another enemy, like the SWAT members that come out of the windows. They kind of act like the shotgun enemies, except they're a bit different. They kind of just spray bullets at you and hope that they hit you. They aren't. Ooh, I died right as the level transition was happening, and unfortunately, that means we have to do the entire level over again. That was very, very unfortunate. But as you can see, sometimes they have good aim like that, which is not the best RNG that we can be having, but it's just something we're gonna have to deal with. And so usually those SWAT enemies will have bad aim, and you can probably see that there's like a red line that I am trying to avoid by having cover. Those are snipers, and I will explain to them when we get to them, because we're actually gonna see them up close and personal.
I do want to take a second and say that this building has some very, very tall walls.
It does have very tall walls, doesn't it? Especially for something that has 30 floors. But anyway, we're going to go straight into floor 17, which means we have to cross the bridge and go into another building. And the music changes. This is some of my favorite music in the game. This is actually I think my favorite level in the game, just because of the music and the different layout that it has. This is really good RNG. It's going straight through to the end. And we're gonna come up to the end of side A for album 2 here, right now. All right then, that is the end of side A. Side B, I did mention that we were gonna talk about the sniper rifles, and the sniper rifles, or the snipers, I should say. The snipers are simply those guys that you saw in the other building, that you saw the red lines. We get to see them up close and personal here. However, they are probably the least threatening enemy in this game because they take forever to charge up their shots. And usually you can just walk straight up to them and push them into a wall before they even are a threat or any kind of threat. And yeah, as you can see, I was being tracked by a sniper there, and he didn't even shoot me, even though he had plenty of time to actually try. And you kind of have to purposefully be slow during this level transition, because if you are too fast and the level doesn't load fast enough before you can walk all the way around, you actually have to walk around those stairs twice, which is unfortunate, especially if you have like a slow laptop or like a slow device. And Oop, okay, that's really good. All right, floor 8. In this next area, we are going, ooh, I'm surprised that I didn't get hit by an enemy there. Okay, in this next area, we are just going straight into straight back into the building as the level name implies. We're gonna circle back. And thankfully, we skipped both instances in this game where the level can just unexpectedly crash. Between the transition of 2.4 and 2.5, and then the transition between 2.6 and 2.7, the game could just unexpectedly crash. I do not know if that's actually a thing ever since like the newer update came out, but it's definitely a thing that can happen. I have no idea if it was patched. No one has really tested it out since the newer update came out recently for the game's 3rd anniversary. And so, who knows? But we're almost getting up to the last. Ooh, dang. Okay, that's why the Melvins are really, really annoying, because like they are, they just try to shoot you in the back at the incredibly inopportune times. So we're just gonna have to go through it again. But sometimes they have really bad aim like that. And so that's the good thing about them sometimes.
I'm just grooving to the music. Like I said earlier, being a drummer myself, I'm just there.
Yeah, Matt Bach did like a wonderful job on the soundtrack. And the music itself is actually reactive depending on how much activity is going on screen, and you'll feel like cymbal crashes as the enemies are getting pushed into walls and such. And one of my favorite things about the music is the title sequences of each level kind of being in rhythm with the music itself, which is absolutely phenomenal. Anyways, we are now going into the lobby, and the lobby is a very difficult. I'm gonna get shot. Oh, I'm not gonna get shot. Look at that. Okay. It's a very difficult very difficult level to deal with because it's just wide open spaces. And oh my goodness. Okay, we're getting really, really bad enemy RNG here. And so the wide open spaces in this game are something, oh my goodness. The wide open spaces in this game are something that you just kind of have to deal with very, very poorly, as well as you possibly can, because wide open spaces are no one's friend. You have minimal cover. It's just something that you're just gonna have to deal with every single time that you play the game, and hope that you don't get shot. Sometimes there are certain things you can do to kind of minimize the randomness of it all, and for example, sticking to the bottom and tops of the maps every time that you go through one of these areas, so that allows you to, very easily just push enemies into walls and find better cover, especially in this section right here. But we're gonna be introduced to other sections that don't really have as much cover. So, but that is the end of album 2. We're halfway through the game, if you could believe it.
So when it comes to the albums, considering it's got album 1, 2, 3, and 4, can you decide like, I just want to practice on album 2 or album 3, or do you have to go all the way through?
No, you can just choose each and every album. I'm just spamming the controller every single time that I want to choose an album, because when you finish an album, the game thinks that you're automatically going to go to the next one, especially if you start from the beginning. And so I can just spam them and continue to the next one. But you can practice each one of these individually. You do have ILs for them, thankfully. And here in album 3, you probably see that each album has like a theme. The first theme was a laboratory where they were doing experiments on the apes. The second theme was a high-rise. The third theme is a military base. I do not know what an ape needs to be doing in a military base, but you know what? We don't really ask questions here. And it is an album that really, really likes to give you enemies in groups. The enemies that you have here, as you can see, at the beginning of the album, we saw a lot of the standard enemies, led by a shotgun enemy. The shotgun enemies, again, weigh more than the standard riflemen, and so if you push the shotgun guy through all of them, they'll just all die in one hit like that. I'm gonna try and see if I can get another example of that. And so, ooh, yeah, as you can see, like right there, they like to give us a lot of enemies in groups. Thankfully, we don't really have to deal with a lot of the bad RNG here, because the end of the album should be right here somewhere. Okay, dang, this section is longer than I think it is every single time. But anyways, Red Alert is another really bad level in the sense that like it's very difficult to stay alive because it once again introduces the concept of wide open spaces as for right here. And so again, stick to the top and bottoms. You're gonna see a lot of barrels here that you can push enemies into that they can catch fire. You can push enemies into each other and overall just push enemies into the wall at the bottom if there isn't a lot of cover for you. However, just going straight through sometimes it is theoretically faster, but you just gotta, I don't really trust myself. No one really trusts themselves to, you know, perform well enough to not get hit by going straight through.
Is there when you are killing these other enemies, is it doing it precisely, or are you just because they're in your way?
Just because they're in my way. You don't, theoretically, you could just go through every single album not killing a single enemy. It'd be incredibly difficult to do because, you know, they're gonna shoot you most of the time. But theoretically, you could just not kill any enemies at all. But I like to kill them because, you know, they're in my way, and I'd rather not take the time to, you know, walk around them and have them shoot me. However, at the same time, theoretically, it would be faster to not interact with them, assuming that they don't shoot you, because it will every time that you do the push animation, like push an enemy or push something forward, your momentum slows down ever so slightly. Like, but that momentum slowing down adds up a lot throughout the run, and so it's just something that you have to deal with. And it's, you know, it's a very give and take situation. It's a risk reward kind of thing with this game that I always say every time that I show it off. It is a risk reward situation. You want to interact with the enemies, and because you don't want them to shoot you. However, interacting with the enemies wastes time because your momentum slows down, and overall it can just be very hairy, as we have seen here, because you could die, as I did 3 times in album 2. And so that is just something that it's going to be very, very difficult to deal with, or twice or 3, however many times I died in album 2. And so right here, we're in the dark sequences. We did get introduced to another enemy in this section, which is the machine gun guys. The machine, like this one right here, they do not react faster in the dark, but it doesn't matter because we're already out. And so these guys, these shotgun enemies, are something that we definitely need to avoid a lot, because we are because they kind of like to come in groups. However, we do introduce to a very easy enemy in this section, which is the flamethrowers. The flamethrowers are not threatening at all. Literally, all you have to do is just not be in range of their attacks, and that'll be it. And we already got shot twice, so that is not a good sign. Ooh. Oh yeah, okay, that's fine. It was at the beginning of the section, and so it shouldn't be all that detrimental. Okay, there we go, beautiful. And so, yeah, you want to kind of have them grouped all together so you can kill them easily. And so, yeah, and the flamethrower guys have this very special ability in the sense that when you push them into a wall, they will explode and create a pile of fire. And if you were to walk into that fire, before an enemy shoots you, you can actually, all the enemies that are in your way will actually just run away from you. And so you can use the fire from a flamethrower in order to just make a clear path ahead of you. Okay. I went for a very long time in that section without killing an enemy, and I was honestly thinking that there might be the time where I just go straight through the entire level without killing an enemy, and therefore the music would never start. However, unfortunately, that day is not today. And so here we are, almost at the end of album 3. However, in this last section, 3-8, we get introduced to another mechanic, the bombs. The bombs are very, very Okay, as we can see here, the bombs are very, very dangerous sometimes. If you accidentally push a bomb, it's going to explode. If you push an enemy into a bomb, it will explode. If an enemy shoots a bomb, it will explode, and all of the explosions, as I said, will kill you in one hit. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is very scary. Ooh, what? I thought I only got shot twice there, but apparently I got shot 3 times. Anyway, that's fine. Out of all the things in this level to kill me, I did not think it was going to be that. I thought it was going to be a bomb because the bombs were getting dangerously close to me. However, we're just going to go through it again. And as you can see there, the music started because an enemy got shot by another enemy. It was not because of me. So no matter what, as long as an enemy dies, the music is going to start back up again. And hopefully we can get through this section again without dying, depending on how well the enemies want to behave and how well the RNG is here. However, just note, there's one rule that we have in Ape Out, and the only rule that we have is that if you lose time, it is not your fault. Just blame the game, blame RNG, and you'll be fine. It's not your fault in any way, shape, or form.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's just RNG. Just blame the game. Anyway, as I said, each album has a theme. This 4th album has a very common theme that we can all relate to. You know, the moment where you're just walking through the jungle, minding your own business, and then suddenly you get shot in the butt with a tranquilizer dart and then put on a boat. You know, we all relate to that feeling, right? That moment. Yeah. Like what, that hasn't happened to you? I don't know what you're saying. But anyway, here we get introduced. Oh wow. Okay, you just want to give me bad RNG right off the start. We'd love to see it. It saw the joke that I was trying to make, and it didn't like it. Here in album 4, we get put on a boat, and we get introduced to another mechanic, these containers. The containers are good because they give you cover. However, they're bad because each container more than likely has a door on either side of it, and pushing open the doors will make you lose momentum. And so you want to be careful with them sometimes. You don't want to overuse them and then just be slow the entire time. But you do want to, make sure that you have some cover from these enemies. And another good thing about the containers is that the doors that swing open on the other side will just the doors that swing open on the other side. If an enemy is on the other side of that, they'll just immediately die. And we get introduced to another In the Dark sequence. However, this one is a bit better, but also a bit worse at the same time, because again, RNG. The music itself will change. The lights will turn out at like random intervals, and during these random intervals, the enemies, as you can see, don't have flashlights this time around. And so because of that, the enemies will just start shooting in random directions, hoping that they shoot you. However, they can oftentimes shoot you. And the worst thing that can happen is that they shoot a bomb enemy that you're next to and then kill you in one hit, because they'll just shoot randomly in any direction, hoping that they shoot you. And right here is a level that I was originally pretty indifferent towards, but now I hate with a passion, because I was on PB pace, and I think like a 25, because my PB is like a 26:43, and I was on a 25 pace. And this level, I died in this level, and it was the only death in my PB. And so it was something that I was just like, you know what, I now dislike this level tremendously. And it was something that people warned me about. They warned me of like 4-3 is a hard level, you're gonna die to it a lot, and I didn't listen. I did not listen. And then I got 4-3'd. Oh my goodness, an absolute massacre. So many enemies there. One thing that I forgot to mention is that specific section likes to give you a lot of Melvins and groups, which the devs were like, you know what, we're going to put the most annoying enemy in the game, we're going to put them in the small quarters, and then we're just going to give them in groups to the player. And they're very annoying to deal with sometimes. And speaking of interesting dev decisions, we're going to see here that we are now invincible. I'm not joking. Like, watch me. I got shot. I'm getting shot. I'm not bleeding. I'm invincible now. And the reason that works is because, for whatever reason, and this is mentioned in the IGN Devs React video, by the way. Like I'm not like giving out any information that the devs haven't already publicly said. For whatever reason, the developers decided there's an explosion at the beginning of this level, and instead of making it like a special explosion that doesn't kill you, there's a small portion where the developers just decided, hey, we're going to give the player 99 health and then put it back down to 3 health once the cutscene's over. And with that, if you restart level during that section, the enemies, you're just going to have 99 health for like almost the entire next area of this game, with the exception of the very, very last level, because there's like a scene transition and that'll revert you back to 3 health. And so with that, you can take advantage of the mechanics of the flamethrowers, as I said, where if you push them into a wall, the enemies that you come into contact with will just run away from you, so you don't have to deal with them. They can just make a clear path for you. And we also get introduced to the missile launchers. The missile launchers, they, again, as the name implies, launch missiles at you. And they, since the missiles are an explosion, they do 10 damage. They're supposed to be an insta-kill, but every explosion in this game isn't technically an insta-kill, as I said earlier. It is, the acceptance of that is this. Every explosion is supposed to do 10 damage, and since you have 99 health, it doesn't really matter if you get shot by an explosion or not. However, even though I said you're invincible, I only meant that practically. I did not mean that literally, because I have died here from being incredibly reckless and just kept getting shot and shot and shot, especially by the missile launchers, because again, they do 10 damage, and so it'll just chip away at you one by one, slowly. But anyway, this is the last level, so be ready on time. Right here, you get introduced to a zoo. It's probably the most familiar of the situations, as you can see, as an ape, and I already got shot twice. So, okay, it's fine. I died at the very beginning, so that's barely any time lost. It's okay.
In the meantime, I just want to talk about like the colors that they use. The entire color palette is wow.
Right? It is amazing. During this oh my goodness, speaking of colors, that's what it looks like when you get shot by a tranquilizer dart. Those are the other enemies that we get introduced to in this last section, the tranquilizer darts. And that's what it looks like when you get shot by one of them. However, the most interesting mechanic about this last level is probably saving the animals. If you save the animals, they will start attacking the other enemies in the game, and the enemies in the game will actually start using them as targets as well. And so, oh my goodness, what is going on here? Okay. And so that is one good thing. You can free the animals. There's tigers, there's polar bears for whatever reason. There's snakes, there's bears, and there's even cockroaches. One thing weird about this section is that in the Switch version, if you there were so many glass particles, if you tried to free all the animals, that the game would crash. But that's not really a problem in the PC version. Anyway, we're up at the end of this level. Timing will end when the piano kicks in and Ape Out appears on screen. So 3, 2, 1, time.
Nice.
I'm sorry, what did you say it was? 30-20. Okay, that's really good. And so yeah, as we exit this section, we are introduced to this wonderful music. You gotta have Freedom by Pharoah Sanders. When you get a PB, the absolute adrenaline that runs through you, and it's absolutely amazing. Compared to this song, it hits hard. And so yeah, that is Ape Out Warpless. I hope you enjoyed the run. Thank you so much to Midnight Best for having me on this show. It is a pleasure, it is a delight, and I hope to be back with GDQ Hotfix shows in the future if y'all would have me. And I guess the last thing that I want to say before I head out is that if you are even remotely considering submitting for SGDQ, again, as Midnight Vesper said, submissions close in hours from now. I think almost literally 7.5 hours from now. And so even there's probably a bajillion reasons in your head why you think you shouldn't do it, but there's one good reason, and it's because you might get in. And even if you don't have world record, even if you think there's too many people or competition, just submit anyway. You'll never know if you don't try. And so, again, that's all I wanted to say. And thank you so much to Midnight Vesper for having me. Look at summonsphere.com, join the Discord, all that jazz. Yeah, I've been Osmore, and this has been Ape Out, Warpless. I hope you enjoyed.
Awesome. I do have a question, because you said it earlier. So it's good to save the animals, correct?
Yes and no. Because saving the animals, again, slows you down a bit, because when you open the cages, you have to do that push animation that slows you down. However, the saving the animals can be beneficial, because the enemies end up targeting them instead of you. And so it's, again, a risk-reward situation, as it usually is.
All right. Well, again, if anyone wanted to follow you, I know you said you gave it a shout out to the community, everything else. If someone wanted to follow you, where would they go?
You can go to twitch.tv/Osmorn. You can follow me on Osmorn on all socials. So yeah, that is where I will be.
All right. Anything else you'd like to say at the last second?
No, I don't think so. I think I got everything out. Submit for SGDQ. That's what I want to say. Submit for SGDQ. Do it.
All right. Well, thank you so very much, Osmond. And I agree. Submit to Summer Games Done Quick. I completely agree with that. We're going to take a small break where we get things set for our next run, which is going to be Flynn, Son of Crimson. I cannot wait for this game. And during this time period is a great opportunity to get up, stretch, get some water, use the restroom, everything else along those lines. Osmond, once again, thank you so very much. And we're going to get things set up for Flynn, Son of Crimson in just a moment. Welcome back to The Bargain Bin. I'm still Midnight Vesper, your host. I think I went a little bit too early on that, but that's okay. Just a couple quick announcements. Summer Games Done Quick 2022. The game submissions are only hours away from closing, so get those submissions in. You can find more information at gamesdonequick.com. And of course, your subs, gift subs, Prime Gaming subs, and bits help support weekly hotfix content. Please consider supporting our daily content if you enjoyed these hotfix shows. And without further ado, let's go ahead and turn things over to Song over here with Flynn, Son of Crimson, a game that I am very hyped to watch.
Hello, everybody. My name is Song. I go by Justice League as well. Today, I'm here with fellow runner Eden, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Eden.
Today, I'm going to be showcasing Flynn, Son of Crimson. We're going to be playing Hero 80% on Easy. Hero is this game's version of New Game Plus, so I'll be having all abilities and everything already unlocked, which actually helps with a lot of the routing. Another thing, we're going to be playing on Easy because we have a resource bar at the top that automatically regenerates on Easy, allowing us to do skips that wouldn't actually be possible unless we have it on that difficulty. I also want to put in, this is the first time we have ever shown this game off on any event. This has never been shown anywhere unless you've been in my stream. I'm currently the world record holder, and hopefully I can give you guys a good showcase. So with that, we're gonna get into the game. I'll give a countdown whenever we're gonna start. So this game is actually a indie 2D platformer. It's based around, I would say, Mega Man X style gameplay. Lots of instead of sliding, we do dodge rolling. We have wall jumping. We keep, instead of our Buster charge, we actually keep our Magic charged. So it's like a fantasy Mega Man X. And with that, let me make sure I have my Joy to Key on, make sure everything's good. And 3, 2, 1, go. So you'll notice I keep my I'm going to keep my magic charge throughout the entire run. The reason why we do this is because we're going to have platforms and button areas that we want to be ready for at any point in time. So we're going to keep that charged. You'll also notice that I'm doing dodge rolls and jumps. That is the fastest way we know how to move Flynn at this point in time. We have not figured out any other movement base with him. So hopefully, you know, we get that all figured out at some point. Right here is just the beginning levels. These are just going to be your intro and how to do platforming, how to attack, what to look for, how buttons work. The reason why we have ice magic on too, sorry, I'm just gonna, a lot to explain. Oh, my bad, I didn't mean to grab onto the ladder. The reason why I have ice magic on is because it's the magic. I messed up. Can we, I'm so sorry, guys. I didn't realize I didn't put it on easy. Can I restart? I'm so sorry. I am so sorry.
Like how we talked about that.
I talked about that too because
We knew exactly
with
what was gonna
hero
happen to
mode,
him.
they don't actually allow you to select difficulty. You have to start the game, then select difficulty, which is why our timer starts on the first level and not when we click start game. So my bad. Okay, so 3, 2, 1, go. I would not lie if I wouldn't say I'm nervous, guys. I'm really glad everybody is here. Thank you all so much for supporting this, seriously. And Midnight Vesper, thank you so much for the invite into the event.
Of course.
So once again, we're keeping our magic charged just for future things that are going to be coming up, such as buttons and platforms. We're doing dodge jumping because it's the fastest movement we have in the game. The first 3 levels are going to be intro levels, just kind of showcasing how the movement works, how buttons work in the game, and stuff like that. We're also playing on New Game Plus, which is giving me all the abilities. You normally wouldn't have magic unlocked at this point. You wouldn't have this sword I have in my hand. You wouldn't be able to wall jump, stuff like that. So once again, just makes the run a little bit more accessible. So right here's our first skip. Technically, you're supposed to have Dex behind you at all times. He's supposed to follow you and actually help you out, but you can actually leave him behind and use the down attack with the sword and skip through those barriers. And he'll just appear in the next screen with you. Even though you left him behind, he's such a good boy, he stays with you. Right there, I call that ice skimming. If you actually shoot just above the ground, your ice will actually skim into the ground and not actually hit anything, allowing you to bypass quite a bit of things. So Grandpa can't climb the ladder, so he sends Flynn up there for it. We're gonna switch to fire magic. The reason why we're doing that is there's a fight coming up. Fire does DOT. For anybody who doesn't know what that means damage over time. We're gonna be burning the plant that we're fighting as well as attacking it, so the door opens up faster. We'll be switching between fire and ice quite a bit for those reasons. 1 to hit buttons and 1 to kill enemies. We also have another skip coming up after this screen called box skip. What that does is we can abuse coyote timing, and coyote timing is where you can actually roll off of something but still jump even though you're not on a surface. So we can actually manipulate our movement to grab onto this ledge right here, just like that. And here comes the fight right after this little cutscene. I'm gonna do a dodge roll in the air, fire off my fire magic, and then I'm just gonna start hitting this guy with my sword. So we actually have 3 weapons in this game. We have an axe, we have gloves, and we have a sword. The gloves are going to be the most used item in this run. The reason why I'm using the sword, though, at the beginning is because we need to fill up that crimson bar at the top that you see. So in the next level, I can actually use my crimson roll to save some time. Okay, we're going to switch back to ice magic, and this is the end of the first level. Okay, Richard, just so you know, this is the level I'm coming up on that's going to have that flashing light. So if you do want to put a warning up there for anybody who has like photo sensitivity. 3, 4, 5, and this is a cutscene skip. I'm going to dodge roll into a certain area, press start, and quit back to the map, and it's going to allow me to actually skip a cutscene. It is almost a frame-perfect pause, because you have to actually pause on this little blade of grass that you can barely see. And here is our crimson control. The reason why we fill that bar up is you actually get a larger jump and a larger dodge roll with crimson activated, saving quite a bit of time getting to the first boss fight. So here's our first boss fight. Her name is Rosia. You're going to see her 3 times in this run. And this part, we're supposed to die to her. So I'm going to walk forward 2 steps and then walk forward 1. Perfect. Okay. We're dead. And now she's going to fight me again. But this time, we actually get to fight her because we get our crimson power. So I don't know why that allows us to hurt her, but it does.
I mean, fun fact, you can actually beat her before this phase. It just takes like a dumb long time.
Yeah, so this boss actually has, I think, 100,000 health. I think that's what they told us. So you can actually kill her, but it's about a 40-minute fight.
Yeah.
And when you kill her, nothing happens. She just lays on the ground and you're stuck in the room and you can't escape. So you soft lock yourself. So that's your reward for killing her. So right here, the story is that Dex is a guardian spirit, and he's supposed to be the protector of like this world, but Rosia just took away his power, and they're going to use it to make the rest of the bosses in the game. Just kind of a quick update on the story. So we're going to have another box skip right here. We call this B skip. So instead of moving the box, we can just do that. You actually don't need to lift gates all the way. You can actually dodge and clip underneath them, which I think is really cool, saves a lot of time. This is another B skip we have right here.
I don't think I've ever actually heard anyone call it B skip.
I call it B skip because you skip the bees. Like, I hate bees. We actually have a level called Not the Bees, if anyone's a Nicolas Cage fan. Because there's so many bees in one of the levels, and they're all electric bees, and they're the worst. So I'll let you guys know when we're there, but yeah, the bees in this game, awful, awful enemies. This is our first damage boost. I'm gonna purposely take damage so I can skip up on that ledge without having to go around. I'm gonna position myself with this bonsai tree so I can land, but I jumped a little too early. We're gonna go in the water. This next part is gonna be our first button puzzle. I'm going to manipulate the wall jump so I can actually hit this button a little bit sooner than you're supposed to. There we go. Hopefully I can showcase our water skip. Oh. Yep, there we go. Yeah. You can actually hold up on your D-pad at the perfect time, and Flynn won't actually sink in the water, and he'll just stay above it, saving you a little bit of time instead of having to sink and then swim back up. Not too many fun facts about this level, but something I do want to mention about the game. We actually learned this just the other day. Apparently, there's a bunch of hidden ghosts in this game that you can find that they added in there as a callback to Metal Gear Solid. So if anybody actually has played Metal Gear Solid, you'll understand, I guess. I will admit I have not played Metal Gear Solid. Please don't hate me for that.
You can't touch every game.
Yeah.
No, that's 100%. But, you know, it's a classic, and I should give my hand at it, but just not something I've made time for.
Also, another fun fact about these ghosts, no one has really found all of them yet.
Yeah, no one's actually found all the ghosts, and they actually won't release where all of them are, so.
Yeah. Remember, one of the developers on Case, he revealed one of them to us, and then we found the other two that we found just normally.
So right there in that fight, I know this is going to sound weird, but we don't want any critical hits in that fight. The reason why we don't is because when you get a critical hit, you get less Crimson energy. So you want to make sure that you're actually... I don't know how that just happened, but I just wasted a whole Crimson bar, which I did not mean to. But you want to save your Crimson bar for this part, but I just messed up. So we'll use the backup strat. But yeah, crits are bad in certain areas. This part, we're going to be doing a lot of wall jumping. This is a lot of platforming. You're going to see me quick jumping up on ledges. If you press jump the moment you grab onto a ledge, you can actually get up it a lot quicker. Get the waterfall. Nice. Nope, I didn't get the waterfall. The next area, we're gonna actually have an arena fight. We tried skipping this arena fight, but they're clever and it soft locks you. So there's no skipping this fight.
Luckily, the fight's actually just easy, so it doesn't really matter.
Also, when you kill an enemy in an arena, the moment the gems start flying towards you, if you press start and quit, it'll just let you go to the next level. So but you have to wait until the gems start flying towards you from the enemy. As you can see, I finally switched to my gloves because we're going to be doing a lot of different manipulations with the gloves. I'm actually going to let Eden take over from right here because this level is my worst level. So I'm going to focus while he explains this level.
Yeah, so basically, throughout the level, you need to do uppercuts to like skip like sections. He just did 2 of those. And coming up, there's another arena fight, but we basically do a strat that skips the entire fight.
Yeah, so with the uppercut on this fight, we can actually manipulate the full combo to shove this guy off the ledge, making it a much quicker fight. So instead of actually fighting him, he's gone. Okay, bye-bye. Now we climb up the ladder. We're going to do a little box puzzle real quick. And I actually have a move coming up called a super clonch that I'm going to attempt. About this move, though, no one in the community knows how it works, and I'm actually one of the only people that's ever pulled it off. And today, we've pulled it off more than we ever have before, so I'm going to attempt it, but if I don't get it, it's all right. But picture an uppercut that sends you about 4 times higher than it really should.
Yeah, it's stupid insane. It's like weird.
And it's massive time save, too. And I didn't get it, but that's okay. We got the claunch. So what a claunch is that it's when you attack in the air with your gloves and then you start falling and you attack again, you can actually uppercut and it locks Flynn's vertical height for some reason and it just sends him in the air way higher than you should be going.
It's easier to do than it is to explain.
Yeah, it's actually very, very easy to do. But the super claunch is not easy to do, which sounds really weird because you would think it would be just the same thing. But you have to frame perfect time the A button as you're uppercutting.
I mean, you think you have to frame perfect, but
yeah, that's
from
the
like
assumption.
earlier, yeah, he got it like at least 10 different times on 10 different frames, so I don't know anymore.
Yeah,
like,
we tried finding out what makes it work. Oh, as I'm talking, I'm messing up. This part, I'm gonna kind of move on from Wilder Falls. We're switching over to our axe in this area because those purple crystals you saw me break, you can only break with the axe. So now we're gonna switch back over to gloves and we're gonna head into one of my favorite levels, which is the Great Forest. For anybody who's ever played Ocarina of Time, there's actually a maze coming up. That's a callback to the Lost Woods, which I thought was really cool. They actually have a lot of cool callbacks to older video games in here.
I also do want to say that this is a visually very nice, well-made game.
Oh, it is absolutely amazing. And the soundtrack alone, too, is wonderful to listen to and just kind of get lost in. The first thing I said to the team when I first started running this game was I added the composer and was all like, your soundtrack is amazing and I'm happy about it because I'm going to be listening to it for hundreds of hours. And I think I'm 900 hours into training. So yeah, it's been a long journey for 6 months of training on this game. But visually, this game is absolutely amazing. My favorite levels are actually right here because we're in the ice levels. My ice level obsession started with Donkey Kong Country 2. Just the ambience and the soundtrack and ice levels are always so amazing. So
Yeah,
what you see me doing,
that.
oh, sorry, my bad. So what you're seeing me doing right here is I'm skipping to the end of the game, but we actually can't go there. Even though we've unlocked it, there's no point in going there yet because you can't actually get to the final boss until you kill the other 3 bosses. So even though they allow you to go there on hero mode, they made safeguards so you can't just skip to the very end of the game.
I mean, I do that, but like, it doesn't really matter, I guess.
Also, these levels that I'm in, these are called corruption levels. These are actually in the main game, but they took them out in hero mode. I'm not really sure why they took them out of hero mode, but they did, so, I mean, yeah.
Faster experience.
Yeah. They were all right levels, but they were definitely difficult.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be intentionally damage boosting again right here. Just gonna go through these spikes and just gonna keep moving on. As you can see, I switched to my fire magic, indicating that we have a fight coming up that I need to kill really quick. These goblins up here that I'm gonna be fighting is gonna have a key on him. We're gonna kill him as fast as we can, and then grab the key, and then we're gonna head down to the door down here. I'm gonna switch back to ice magic, and then we have a wall skip coming up that allows us to get up to a ledge skipping an elevator, but I have to use Crimson Roll to get up there. There we go. That was really nice. That was super nice. Oh my goodness, love that.
I think you can actually do that wall jump without Crimson Roll, but
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
it's so
that much
hard.
sure about that.
You get so much more air on Crimson than you do on a regular
Yeah.
roll.
Always the stuff that you say is hard, I always get consistently. It's weird. Like,
Oh, to kind of mention that in, Eden actually runs this game on a different difficulty because the routing is so much different. Because like I said, on easy, your resource bar up there refills. On normal, it does not. So you actually have to be a little more careful with your resources and how you actually route the game.
yeah.
Is this a perfect puzzle? We just got a perfect puzzle, guys. That's amazing.
Nice, nice.
Yeah,
got
the
a
puzzle
really
usually
good
goes
rotation.
a little worse than that. Either like the elevators aren't in the right place or just like you fall off of one of them, so it's like...
Which, funny enough to explain that too, there's actually no RNG in this run. Everything is on a global timer. So as long as you're fast enough, you can always get the same patterns. The only RNG that we do face in this game is enemy attacks. Some enemies will do certain attacks at some points, and then sometimes they decide to do a different attack.
You'll see that mostly coming up later in like the last levels, because enemies like do differing attacks in those levels for some reason.
Yeah, the goblins have like they swing their club at you, but they also have a tornado attack that is my arch nemesis.
Yeah, that's like.
Also,
bang.
I don't know what just happened, but my Crimson control just glitched out, so that's fun. Okay, Frosted Caverns. There's actually a skip we have in here called 5-head skip. We just found this out the other day. You can actually bounce a boulder off of one of these goblins' heads, and it just skips a major part of the level, which I find really cool because usually you have to smack the boulder like 5 times, but because the goblin has such a big head, you can actually use it to your advantage.
Wait, you only found that a few days ago? Wait.
Well, we're not gonna get the 5-head.
Wait.
We're not gonna get the 5-head skip. I messed up my jump right there. That's okay. So this would be the normal route. You would punch this down, grab it, throw it at the block. But if that goblin up there, if you hit the goblin in the head with the block, it bounces backwards and just falls through. Yeah, I actually just found that out, that you can actually time that. I just thought it was luck all the time, Eden. I did not realize that you could actually perform it consistently. This level right here is going to be a lot of damage boosting as well. You'll see me just taking a lot of damage for no reason other than just to move faster.
This is one of those levels where it's like appropriate to get scared when you have 1 health because there's a lot of damage.
Well, there goes that skip. That was really bad. That was a huge time loss. That's okay. I'm really messing this up. We just found that skip the other day. I've been trying to perfect it, decided I would try it live. But you can actually save going in the platform by just using your axe to uppercut it. Otherwise, you have to wait for the platform, which does take a minute. Come on. My recommendation always on this run too is heal at doors because you can't bypass them while they're opening. You actually have to wait till they're fully open, so it's the best time to get a heal in.
Now, this game is on multiple consoles, right? Like PC, Switch, PlayStation.
Yeah.
It's on PlayStation, Xbox. It's also on the Xbox Game Pass. It's on all major consoles, actually. A better way to put that. And Game Pass.
Except Stadia, because no.
Well, yeah.
Now, is there a,
yeah. One more time?
yeah. Is there a difference between them all? So it's like, I think you're on PC, I think. So is there a difference between like it's faster for load times?
Nope,
or...
actually, I used to only
actually.
run console because I didn't own a PC. I only bought a PC for this game. I know that sounds really funny, but it's what kind of got me into speedrunning a lot. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll get a PC for once. And to find out, the load times between my Xbox One, not Xbox Series X, but Xbox One runs are no different. So I actually had the world record on Xbox, and I have it on PC now, with barely any time differences. So that's actually really cool about this game, is that it's competitive for everybody. So in this part, we're being chased by a boulder, and I have my sword out because it has the longest attack range of any of our weapons. So I just died by jumping. I didn't mean to do that. The reason why we have the sword out is because longest range attack, we can actually break the ice blocks a lot faster. Because if you mess up your glove attack, you'll have to punch twice. Also, the glove, for some reason, has gotten me stuck in the ceiling before. So I just tend not to use the gloves in these areas.
Remember back in like October, basically, when like this game was just coming out, we all thought the gloves were the best weapon in the game. But then we found sword actually gives you the most crimson per hit. So
Yeah,
it's
I
like,
forgot to mention that. Thank you. Oh, come on. Why aren't you talking?
And for this fight, usually you're supposed to go to like another level to actually activate this sanctuary. You have to activate it.
Yeah, actually, you're supposed to come here one time, and then it'll send you to a different level in normal playthrough. But on hero mode, for some reason, she just gives you the gem, and then is like, I'm gonna fight you right now. So it's like, okay, cool, whatever. We also tried skipping that fight, but funny enough, if you jump over the wall with a claunch and you walk through the transition, it just sends you back into the fight. It'll transition to the next screen and be like, nah, you have to fight her. Like, there's no way of skipping that lady. But we have tried.
Luckily, like I said for the first arena fight, it's a very easy fight, so it's like it's really like Enduros, I guess.
So as you can see, I'm Crimson rolling in this area, and I jumped up there and I grabbed a red emblem. That emblem, while you have Crimson Control activated, will actually continue your Crimson, so you can use it for a little bit longer, as this area, as you can see, is pushing me back. And then this is the opposite. It actually makes you go a little bit faster. Funny enough, Case, the developer, actually said he put this area in here so people could actually feel like a speedrunner for a second. Because it pushes you forward, making you go a little bit faster.
That's actually really nice.
Yeah, right? Speaking of Case, the developer, he's actually the one that taught us how to do claunch. He actually found it while testing the game and decided he didn't want to remove it, so they kept it in there. And then when the speedrunning community started, somebody randomly did it on accident, but we couldn't figure out how it happened. So Case came into the Discord and was like, oh yeah, this is how you do it, and just let us keep the move, and has not patched it out at all, which I think is really cool. The devs in this game are very active in our speedrunning community. They talk to us on the daily, they help us out, they give us screenshots of the levels and stuff. Really cool people.
I love when devs get involved with their games in the speedrunning community like that.
Oh, it's super amazing. I think they're actually watching right now, to be honest. I'm pretty sure they, as I messed up my trick.
I don't think I've actually seen that animation in like 6 months. Like,
I never freeze anymore, but I've been trying to do this dolphin skip that we found out. So technically, if you're in the water for more than a few seconds, it turns you into an ice cube because you're supposed to use the ice. But if you dodge underwater and then swim back up and use long jump, it cancels out the freeze, so you can just constantly do what I like to call the Flynn.
the funny name.
I get it.
Yeah. Here comes our very first boss fight. He's very easy on hero mode because we have gloves. So with all boss fights, you just equip the gloves and you stay in the air. So you just do this. And this is the boss fight.
The fights are really interesting on normal 90%, I swear.
We got really bad RNG in all of his moves. He decided to hit me with a knockback move the entire time, so that is not great. Okay, we're still good though. He actually has two separate moves. The move that you saw when he hit me and I got knocked back is the worst one you can get. He has another move where he makes an icicle appear and it just launches in the air, but it doesn't do any knockback. So you can actually just continue to wail on him, doing massive amounts of damage. And if you're lucky enough, you can actually kill him before he even leaves the screen. I keep, for some reason, using Crimson on accident in certain areas. I'm not supposed to be using it. Okay, so this is the second world. We call this the Hollows. We're about to start getting to a lot more broken areas that we can start doing a lot more tricks. Also, Viper, heads up, we have a auto scroller coming up if you want to do announcements during it. Just a heads up.
Yeah, definitely. Just let me know.
Yeah.
The good thing about this game, there's not that many auto scrolls. There's only like 3.
3.
Yeah, like 3. And none of them are really that bad since, like, at the points that they are, they're usually just, like, they're good breaks for your hands, basically.
Oh, yeah, they're amazing breaks for your hands. Trust me. You're gonna love your cutscenes after running this game.
Yeah.
I forgot to switch to my axe. That was my bad.
One thing I am not, like, the greatest fan of is the fact that you can't break those purple doors with Crimson Control, which is weird, I guess.
I do agree with that. I do believe you should be able to break them with Crimson Control, but you do have to use your axe, which gives you a little bit more reason to pull it out. Funny enough, we never use the axe other than that because it's too slow.
But
so you'll
also
only see it for certain areas. But also with those purple crystals, you can skip through some of them. And Viper, if you want to do your announcements.
Yeah, definitely. Just a reminder that while we're going through and talking about these speed runs and everything like that, if you are speedrunning yourself, don't forget The submissions for Summer Games Done Quick 2022 end tonight. They are almost done. You got a couple hours left. You can visit gamesdonequick.com for all the information about where to submit. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, hello YouTube. You can head on over to twitch.tv/gamesdonequick if you're interested in ever looking at our live content, starting weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. And of course, their subs, gift subs, Prime Gaming subs, and bits help support the weekly hotfix content. Please consider supporting our daily content if you enjoy these hotfix shows. And of course, we did recently get some new sub badges. So if you have a chance to check them out, they are great. And of course, if you have any ideas for your own shows or one-off events, you can head on over to gamesdonequick.com/hotfix to submit your ideas.
Awesome. Yes,
So what
everybody
Justice just
please
did-
go and support GDQ. An amazing, amazing foundation. Love it. Love these people. Been watching GDQ forever. So to explain what I just did while he was doing the announcements, at the very end of that auto scroller, there's a fish that appears. If you swim to the edge of the screen and then you press down, you'll run into another fish off screen that'll bite you. The moment you get bit and hold up, you can actually transition out of the level at perfect times. And then you can go to that crab, use uppercut to knock him onto that upper platform, use claunch, and then you can actually skip that area without having to fight all 4 crabs. And then as you saw when I got done with that area, I did a long jump out of the tube where I went through that crystal. That actually, we found, I think about a week ago, that you can actually phase through those crystals by doing a long jump at the perfect time. But only on some of them. Otherwise, you do still have to break them with your axe.
We still don't know why we can only do it with some of them.
Yeah,
Like, nothing
we've
really
checked
like
the files, and it doesn't look like there's any barriers, except it just works on some of them. As Todd Howard would say, it just works.
Just work. Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so this
No,
level
time
is the
for the worst
bees.
level
This
again.
is not the bees level. There is so many electric bees, and if you get hit by them, they cause knockback, and they will launch you back really far. It is not fun to get hit by those guys. Oh, I missed the platform. Those guys, those bees.
Those are bees.
Yeah, and those
bees.
bees will mess your whole run up, especially towards the end of this level, because they're in a very high platform area where they just kind of surround the platforms.
And then they decided to put like 12 in each room for some reason. Like okay.
There we go. Okay, perfect. I just did a little damage boost skip over there. That lightning actually shoots up. And even during Crimson, you don't take damage, but for some reason, lightning still hurts you in Crimson. I don't know why that is. Funny enough about these guys, if you press forward while you're being hit by them, they do no damage to you, as long as you just keep holding forward. I don't know why that happens either, but they look like a huge threat in the game, but they don't do anything.
Yeah, no.
Right here, we call this button skip. Oops, we call this button skip. Oh my god, I got it first try. Ah! Okay, anyways.
And he never gets that first try, like, at all, ever. So it's like...
So you do a long jump off the rope, turn your character, shoot your magic, land back on the rope, and do a long jump. It's quite extensive, and it's really hard to get the ledge. So the fact that I just got that live, I feel really proud of myself.
To be fair, this skip isn't actually that hard to do. He just does a harder version of it.
I do a harder version. Oh, I didn't charge up my magic. It's okay. Go away, bees. This is really bad. We're gonna do that. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm still hyped about getting that skip.
Now, time for what we deem the worst room in the game. Like,
Okay, this
by
is the
far.
bee
These are
room.
the sheer amount of bees. Like, Jesus.
Oh my gosh, that was a really good bee room, even though I did really sloppy on it. I didn't get hit by the bees, and that's all that matters. We found out that you
room
can
does
just...
not go as easily.
Yeah, we found out you can actually just go below them. We didn't find that out till last night. I know that sounds really dumb,
some reason.
but I don't think anyone actually just tried to go below the bees.
Yeah. Mainly because their hitboxes are way bigger than their actual bodies. Like, I'm not joking.
Yeah, they got really massive hitboxes. Also, this was a really smooth Crystal Grotto ending.
This room never goes easy. Like,
Yeah, this
ever.
will never happen
So, yeah.
again, I promise that.
Yeah.
This level is awful. We deem this the worst level in the game. Goodbye, bees. And this is one of my all-time favorite levels. This is Franklin the Fish. This is best fishy in the game. Love this
the Fish.
fishy. He's actually a from the parrot from Donkey Kong. That's what he's supposed to represent as he lights up the area for you. That was their inspiration for Franklin the Fish. Also, no, his name is not Franklin, but we had a new person join our ranks in the Discord named Steve TV Online. And he asked what the fish's name was, and I couldn't give him an answer. And he goes, well, I'm calling it Franklin, so it's now Franklin the Fish. And he's
That's a great name for the fish.
He's adorable. I love this fish. We're gonna see him one more time in this level, and he's just the best.
It's the smile. It's that little smile on the fish. Makes me
He's
happy.
such a derpy little
Yeah.
fish. It's so great. Okay, so this part is the ice puzzle part. They kind of give you a hint on what you're supposed to do here. On my casual playthrough, I felt really ridiculous that I didn't know you could just do that with the ice magic. So yeah, you just freeze the things and you move on. During casual playthrough, I sat there for like 5 minutes like, what? What do I do?
I think everyone did that, though. That's
You can freeze water. I don't know if you guys know this, but yeah.
Yep, you can freeze water. You can make ice.
What?
Yeah, chemistry.
Insane.
That's how ice is made?
Yep.
Learn something every day.
Okay, we're back to the fishy part in a second. So this is going to be a really big damage boost area. I'm going to actually have to get the patterns perfect while I'm swimming. Otherwise, I will have to heal. So Eden, if you want to add on to anything, I'm going to focus on my route real quick.
So yeah, this level, like
I
this
messed
part of the level. Yeah.
Sandy water. Okay, keep going, sorry.
Yeah, this level is one of those levels that I thought like was gonna be an auto-scroller when I first played it.
Ooh, no, come on, grab the bubble. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I'm being human over here. I'm yelling at myself.
It's fine, yeah. Also, another thing about those bubble hitboxes, they're really small. Like
I'm pretty sure they don't
They're
actually
deceiving.
encapsulate the whole bubble, so that's why I miss it
no.
sometimes. Oh, that was. I shouldn't have done that, by the way. I shouldn't have skipped through there with that little health, definitely, because that would have been a huge time loss. But we did it, and that's what matters. So, woo!
And a really nice thing about the bosses in the game, they give you full, like all
Only
5 healing
Rosia.
crystals. Only Rosia, yeah.
Yeah.
But like, they give you all 5 healing crystals, and really nice when you only have like 1 health going into this fight. You know, the fight's really easy, so it doesn't really like matter. But like, yeah.
So funny enough, we found out I was fighting the last boss and found out a glitch with Crimson Roll, which I've been using on that fight. If you dodge roll while in Crimson and connect with the dodge roll and just keep attacking, Flynn won't actually touch the ground and will just float there. And he does more damage that way. I don't know what causes it at all, but yeah, it works.
Now it's time for the easiest boss in the game by far. Like, not even close, honestly.
So, in regular playthroughs, this guy is an absolute menace. But because
he's
we
the
have the
hard- like,
gloves, we can just float in the air and not have to worry about his attacks. And that's it. That's the boss.
I still have nightmares about fighting this boss on any percent because of how like weird the strategy is for it, like actually doing it. You can't just like float in the air with sword or whatever you have
Yeah.
during this fight. So it's like, yeah, no.
So we are now heading into the most broken levels in the game, where we have most of our skips that are found, such as out of bounds and stuff like that. So we'll be
Yeah.
getting there in just a second. I have to go cure our doggo though, because our doggo is sick after having his soul taken away from him.
Aww.
Yeah, poor doggo. And you can't even pet the doggo.
You can't pet him and it's sad.
Okay, now we're gonna head back to the Great Forest. The reason why we head back to this level, instead of going to the left, we're now going to the right. It's 2 separate levels. This is not a faster route, but I just kinda, no, I'll wait till later. You can actually go above this area by clipping out of bounds. I haven't timed it, but I don't think it's faster.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's faster.
So I'm not gonna try it just yet. Okay, we have an item hop coming up right here. Flynn can actually throw an item and then it gives him an extra jump. Oh. I'm gonna bonk. There we
And
go.
for some reason, no one's consistent at that specific item hop for some reason. Like, none of us are. It's like sad.
So as that skip that you saw me just do right there with the uppercut, I can actually skip that door that was to the right. Instead of having to go up the ladder and hit the button to open it, I can just do an uppercut, use magic to get a little bit extra height, and then jump over that wall area. Okay. Technically, I should have had Crimson roll right here, but because I had to do 2 uppercuts, I do not actually have it available. So it is a little bit slower in this area, but that's fine. That was a really bad time to use that. Oh, there we go. So that's a transition skip. If you do a jump and then use dodge roll right at the same time you jump off a wall, Flynn will do a long jump, allowing you to actually climb up walls higher, so you can actually transition into that area without having to take the long platform right across. I think it saves around 20 seconds, to be honest, because you have to wait a whole rotation for that platform.
And the funny thing is, we found, like, the day we found that skip was the day we also found, like, a faster way to do that platform.
Yeah, which is so funny.
Like, which was very funny,
We were stressing
actually.
so hard and then found out, no, there's actually a different method.
Yeah, just wall jump up the thing. Yeah.
So this is actually the area that Rosia fight in the ice level would have sent you first. But technically you didn't have to go back here, so we go here in the run now. And then here is the Dex areas. I know, Case, the devs are gonna hate me saying this. I love Dex as a character in the game. I do not like using Dex in the game though. Awful doggo when you have to ride him.
Yeah, the controls in this part are like not the best, since you like it. How do I explain this without like making the devs angry? Basically, you just like you boost off a platform and they're usually really small, so it's like you just boost straight off and just fall down a hole, and it's like.
Okay, we got another arena skip. Okay, so once again, gems fly at you, you quit. We'll go back to Shadow Haven Trail. This is gonna be the last Dex level for a while. And I'm happy about that. Okay, so funny enough about this level, there's actually a really cool thing about this level. So there used to be a dragon that chased you in this level, but they removed it. I'm not 100% why Case said they removed it. I think it's because they said the level was too short and they didn't feel like it really fit. But they were too afraid to remove the dragon, so they just moved the spawn up in the air. So one of our community members edited the file of the game to move the spawn clip lower, and you can actually activate it and the dragon still comes and chases you. Which I think is really cool that they kept it in the game.
Luckily, they added that section into another level so you can actually see it in full, like normally, which is really nice.
So this level, I call this acid rain. As you can tell, there's just a lot of rain coming down, and if you stand in it too long, it actually hurts you. The point of this level is to take as minimal amount as damage as possible, as I just took a hit. The reason why we want to take as minimal amount as damage as possible is because there is a massive damage boost area that you're going to be in spikes for 2 whole screens.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Got it. I got it for you, Eden. I did it for you, Eden. Eden found this. Eden found this. Come on. Come on. Eden, I don't know how to get out of your skip.
I think you just roll jump. Wait.
Are you kidding me? No way, Eden.
It's never been this hard. What?
Yeah, okay,
Wait.
well, let's go back out.
No.
So Eden actually found a skip that he can do that I can't do. Sorry about that, guys. You can actually you can out of bounds right there and then clip into the next screen. But Eden apparently is a lot better at that than I am, and I can't do it. Funny enough, last night when I was testing it, I got it like 5 times in a row. So.
Speaking of wall clipping, there is a category that we run. It's called wall clip percent, where you basically wall clip into the earliest wall that you can do it in, which it's a fun category, I guess.
Yeah,
And
so
as you
let's
can
not
tell,
do
I
that
haven't
again.
lifted it.
We're still gonna get the time though, which is cool.
I mean, if you could probably tell, I have world record in that category, which is like the only record I still have it in.
Do you want me to break your heart?
No, don't.
Okay.
You did it. You already did it once, dude. No.
I haven't published the video, but I do have the world record in wall clip percent. But I'll let you have it.
Of course you do.
my guy.
Dude. Yeah, of course you do. But no, because look, hero mode normal is the category that I play the most, and it's the category that I had record in once. I got after like 4 months of not PBing, I finally got record again. And not even an hour later, this man got record. Beat me like by like 5 minutes, and it's sad. And the funny thing is,
I shouldn't have done that because that was really rude of me. But I
mean,
was
it's
like, you know
fine.
what? I'm gonna do it.
I mean, and the thing is, the run wasn't good. That was the difference. You die like 5 times, and it's like in one level, and it's like, man, I'm sad that I haven't got record back. I'm really sad.
So right here, we're gonna do what we call a what did I use? Man, I can't remember what this is even called anymore. I don't ever do these anymore. But you pin him up against the wall, and he can't do anything.
I don't think we had a name for that.
I had a name for it, but we don't do it anymore in the runs really, except that one area. We used to do it in like 5 areas, but then we found out what claunching was, and now we can just claunch our way out of every scenario.
Yeah.
This is another auto-scroll area. Eden, if you want to explain like how you got into speedrunning and stuff, this would be a really good time, and just kind of introduce yourself a little bit more.
Okay, so once again, I'm Eden, and I got into speedrunning through Flash games, like people do sometimes. This game in particular, I actually started speedrunning it like 2 days after it came out.
He is
And
the progenitor,
of course,
yes.
it was
so.
really bad. It was really bad. It was like what? What was the first record? 2 hours and 35 minutes?
Yep,
Yeah,
2:35.
2:35. Watching that run again makes me just cringe at how bad it was. Like, as well as it being normal 90%, which is just cringe in general. Eh. Yeah. Yeah, basically, it's like, yeah, this game is just fun. I don't know how to explain my love for this game, honestly.
Okay.
Like, it's that deep.
So would you say that you immediately picked up this game for speedrunning, or did you pick it up casually, and then after playing it was like, ooh, I want to speedrun this?
Yeah, I picked it up casually at launch day, but then it's like, I saw the speedrun for the demo of this game, which, by the way, the demo is actually really good. It's just like the roll is really bad. You need to play to believe it, honestly. Like, but yeah, I picked this game up casually, and it's like, I think like, yeah, 2 days after I bought the game, basically, it's like, I figured out that roll jumping is the fastest movement in the game, so it's like, maybe I can do that. And I was in like a drought because I haven't speedrun anything in like 3 months because I was just basically taking a break.
Oh, almost a perfect dark area. Ah, come on. Anyways, keep going. Sorry, Ian.
Yeah,
I'm mad at myself.
Basically, yeah, I hadn't speedrun anything in like the last 3 months, so it's like, maybe
Also,
I should speedrun this,
not
and
to
that's
interrupt
all.
you,
That's
Eden,
what
because
started
we're
it.
in a really big skip area. So what you just saw me do is I used A button to get up these letters really quick to actually dodge that vine that was supposed to plant itself. You're not supposed to skip on that ladder, but if you can jump up it fast enough, you just go straight through it. Now the thing about that is if you get that vine, it opens up 3 extra skips for you that you can go through. The vine up top, and then this vine right here, which I just messed up. You can actually go through that vine, but yeah. We have another major skip right here coming up. It's gonna be using the claunch, and we're gonna manipulate a cutscene to keep our height. So this enemy spawns, and it keeps a cutscene. As you can see, Flynn flies. If I punch and then do the claunch move, I can just skip that entire fight.
To be fair, I think I've gotten that like 3 different times, and that's it, because I never am able to like hit fast enough, and it just like usually just moves.
Oh yeah,
out
if
of the
you
way.
thank you for saying that. If you mess up your claunch, that enemy actually will dodge and jump backwards away from you, and it'll completely disorientate the position of where you need to claunch, so it becomes impossible, so you have to fight him. So you get 1 shot, and after that, it's just kill the guy.
I mean, he does like eventually jump back like a few seconds after that, but like usually jumps back to like the other side almost instantly for some reason. And then
Yeah.
he just does the tornado move, which is by far the worst attack in this game. Like, man.
Okay,
it's
so
worse
this
than
level,
bees, like,
I'm
bees
going to
by
be
far.
explaining a lot. This is the
Yeah, this level's
most
a lot.
broken level we have in the entire run.
And it's still bad, and we still don't like it. It's fun.
We actually have an out of bounds coming up right here. I found this after we found Claunch. I got so bored one day that I went to every enemy in the game and claunched off of them to see if I could manipulate it. And we found this. Oh, as I messed up my jump.
Yeah, you don't have to clunch off the enemy. You can just uppercut for that. But I still clunch
And it
for that
skips
because, yeah.
into the wall, and then you're in the
And then
next
you
area.
skip into the... That skips
That
getting a key
saves so
and getting Dex.
yeah, it skips hitting a button, getting a key. It skips having to summon Dex. Like, it is a massive skip of me just getting bored. Now, to find that skip, though, I'm not gonna lie, I spent like 30 minutes in that wall. I was so confused. I'm like, I can't see where I'm going. And then I found out if you just hold down and dodge roll a lot, you can get through it. Okay, so here's another major skip. We call this skull skip, or at least I call this skull skip.
You're the only one who does this, by the way. I'm not gonna lie. There's a backup for the skip, which is way easier, and you'll see why it's easier.
So with this
If the skull
skull,
doesn't
I'm gonna
cooperate
lead
with
him
him.
over here. I'm gonna claunch off of him, and we're gonna skip a massive platforming section.
And now, mind you, that never goes as good as it did just now because the skull usually either goes too far down or too far up, so you just don't hit him.
Yeah, and it's really hard to manipulate his position, so the fact that I got that in one pool, I'm really happy about.
You couldn't get that at all in practice. That was funny.
Yeah, I couldn't get that in practice at all. So, but yeah, that's a one pull skull skip. It allows you to skip that entire platforming area, not having to worry. We're gonna go through here. We're gonna damage boost through these thorns, and then just kind of jump on these platforms, having to skip a little bit. We have a major skip coming up that saves 4.5 to 5 minutes. I'm going to do my best to do it on first shot. I did do a lot of practice with it. So to explain this trick, because it is kind of complicated, we're going to use claunch. After you claunch, you're going to wait till your momentum starts to drop, and then you're going to wall jump as your momentum is dropping. And you're going to grab onto the ledge that doesn't exist. I'm not even kidding. There's no ledge there. It just, for some reason, Flynn grabs onto it, and the wall will give birth to you. It'll push you out like it's giving birth to you, and you'll just fly. And I do not know. We have no idea why. We've taken pictures of the top of the screen. It makes no sense on why it happens. You just get pushed out. This is another one of those moments where I got really bored, and I was just claunching off of every enemy I could find. Okay, here's the arena skip. And he's gonna walk towards me. Go figure.
The knight can actually just like rush over to you, but like it does that sometimes. Where it doesn't
okay, guys, we just got the arena skip first try. Okay, whatever.
That is really hard to do.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's really hard to do on first try.
So the dragon that we were talking about, this is the dragon that you can spawn in that level. But since the level was so short, they took it out.
But then they put it into like, I don't know if this is the longest level in the game or the next one is. I don't know. It might be plateau. It probably might be plateau.
Honestly, this was the longest level in the game, but with the skips that we found, it is now the second longest.
Yeah, I think plateau's the longest because that also has an auto scroller in it that's like 3 minutes.
Which during that auto scroller, I will kind of go more in depth about who I am. Okay, this is a really fun skip. I love this skip.
It's
so
arena
Rosia
skip, but
Rosia is she's gonna try to fight us for the last time. This is her last time to prove to her dad that she can fight us. But goodbye. Okay, and so boss is over.
And that's the only Rosia skip you can actually skip.
And what's really funny is after that thing, there's a cutscene that shows her dad yelling at her that he's disappointed. And so it kind of sad that like it was her last time to redeem herself, and you just punch her one time and disappear.
Yeah, basically.
So like,
luckily,
okay, bye,
she
Rosia.
just comes over to our side for like a bit in the final fight. You'll see that later.
Fun fact about this level is that anybody who's ever played Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, there's a callback in this level. The leaf that you use, you actually get in this game, so you can actually use the leaf.
We don't use it in the room that you get it in. We use it in the room after it. And I found that. That was nice.
Okay, yeah, Eden actually found a skip in this level. You can, when you go to grab the leaf later in this level, there's actually no major skips right now, so we can talk about this one. you can actually not talk to the baboon. And it's not a baboon. What is it again, Aiden? I'm so sorry. It's not a baboon.
It's a bird,
what is it?
dude.
It's a bird. It's a bird. You can. It looks like a baboon. I'm sorry. It looks like Rafiki. I don't care what anybody says.
It has a beak. No.
You can actually skip talking to the bird, and you can still get the leaf.
It saves like, I think 5 seconds or something.
Yeah, because you don't have to actually talk to him. And all of my runs, I was talking to him, and then one day, I was watching Eden, and he just like ran past the baboon, monkey, the bird. And I was like, wait a minute, you don't have to talk to him? He's like, no, you don't have to.
I don't know.
Talk to him.
I've been doing that forever, so I don't know how you didn't see that before. Like, I'm really not like, bro. Jesus.
Okay, so this part, we're going to do another super clunch, not super clunch, but a regular clunch, off of a night coming up, and this will lead us to the bird. Not the baboon, the bird.
Bird. You'll see, that does not look like a baboon. Like
Okay, here's the baboon. It looks like a baboon. That's a baboon.
No, it's a bird.
That's a baboon. I'm sorry, guys. I don't care what anybody says.
No, it's a bird.
I'm actually messing up on my platforming because I'm so mad at you right now, Eden.
I just want to see like a combination of the two now.
And if any of the devs are in chat, what is it, a bird or a baboon?
It's a bird. I know you're right, but I don't want you to be right because it looks like Rafiki.
My God.
Okay. So this used to be one of my worst areas because apparently I'm not good at anything that makes you float.
You're not good at easy things. That's what I've like realized for some reason. Like, you're not good at the easy strats, but all the hard strats you're
As
like,
you can see, I'm
good.
so bad at this area.
Exactly.
And I'm not even meaning to. I actually was practicing this area the other day and was getting it like flawlessly. But you know, when I'm live, it has to be like, no, go back to the classic days. So this is going to be really dangerous because I have no heals and this is the auto scroller. So I'm going to try to explain myself without dying. So my name is Justice. I go by Song though. I got my start into speedrunning as a glitch hunter. If anybody knows what Remnant of the Ashes is, it's kind of like a Dark Souls with guns. I used to host challenge runs on there for money that I would challenge people to play the game with like these ridiculous restrictions. And I ended up falling in love with the game so much that I met the world record holder for the speedrun. His name's Gamma Reed. And he was like, well, why don't you give yourself a chance at speedrunning? I tried speedrunning that game. Yeah, no, not gonna happen. But it made me realize that speedrunning could possibly be something that I could do. So I picked up Death's Door. I'm pretty sure most everybody knows what Death's Door is with the crow. And I did some glitch hunting for that and found some really cool things that the community still uses, such as fast item pickup. And I actually found the menu manipulation where you get hit. You can actually open your menu while still moving the character around. The community grew in massive size, so I moved on from Death's Door. At the same moment I was moving on, Flynn released on September 15th, 10 days after my birthday. And it came onto Game Pass. And at the time, I was just a console pleb. No offense if you play consoles. I just was a console person. And I was like, okay, I will try to run this game. Well, I saw everybody else was on PC and it kind of deterred me from actually giving it a fair shot. But then I realized there was no load times. So I casually played this game to about the 50% point and then just started speedrunning it. And that's kind of how I got into speedrunning. And I've been doing this game for about 6 months now. And I have about several hundred hours under my belt. But a lot of that is in regular and not in hero mode because hero mode was released in November. But yeah, my start inside speedrunning was as a glitch hunter, and I still love hunting for glitches. I think it is one of the funnest things to do in speedrunning.
I hear that a lot. That glitch hunting is super fun.
It's rewarding because you help a community break down time, and just getting like the praise of finding something so simple that can save 2 seconds is it's humbling. You're just like, wow, I wasn't even trying to, guys. That's super cool. But the speedrunning community is like the friendliest thing I've ever been a part of. That even a split-second time save, people are like, oh, what a god! Oh! So it's amazing. I would recommend anybody get into speedrunning. It'll change your life. As someone who suffered from depression and anxiety, I have actually gotten over my. Oh, I went to the wrong area.
Thank you. Wait.
I actually fought my depression with speedrunning, which I thought was really cool. It kept me busy. It kept me motivated. It gave me a goal to work towards. So I absolutely love it, and I would recommend it to literally anybody. Even if you're not good, even if you're the person last place on the leaderboards, be proud of yourself because only 1% of people are speedrunning. Like, no one else in the world is doing what you're doing. So just own up to it and be proud of your accomplishments. Oh, what am I doing? I missed that. Okay, we're going to this level right here. This is the final world of the game. They decided to add in invisible platforms at the very end of the game because they hired Lucifer to make these levels.
Yeah.
I don't understand why invisible platforms have to exist at the end. So we're gonna actually have some skips coming up in this level, and I'm actually gonna be doing some safe strats on these platforms. As you can see, I'm using magic to do fall delay, so I don't fall into the pits wasting more time. I have most of the areas memorized, but I don't really want to fall during the run. Let's see, what can I add into these levels? Because there's not a lot going on other than some extreme platforming. Eden, do you have any of the facts about these levels? I didn't actually read it through the fact sheet about some of these areas.
Oh, I didn't read those either. Wait, I don't think they have any facts about them.
Oh, okay.
I mean, some good speedrunning things about this. You can actually skip a bit of platforming with well-timed roll, like magic extension wall jump. Which, did we explain those? I don't think we did.
Magic extension is you use magic to gain a little bit of height and a little bit more distance. Which right there was a magic extension. I wouldn't have been able to do that skip without using a magic extension.
Yeah.
It just gives you it doesn't even look like it gives you height, but it really does. Just enough height to get to certain areas that you shouldn't be getting to.
You can also just like do that with like hit extension where you just attack instead, but it's way harder. Since you have to time it way earlier than you do on magic.
I'm gonna take this hit because I had no health. Okay. Once again, more invisible platforms. I'm gonna be doing safe strats by making sure that I use magic.
This room is bad.
Okay. So now this area, we actually have a transition skip that we're going to launch off of a sorcerer that leads us into a area with a box skip as well. So that's coming up right in this screen. So here comes the sorcerer. We're gonna punch, punch, uppercut, charge magic, fire, uppercut. Don't take damage like I did. Oop, almost fell. Oh, landed on the platform. Ooh, oh my goodness. Okay, so the next level we have coming up is really nothing. So if you have anything else to say, Vesper, we have 2 areas where there's not going to be a lot going on. Or if you have any questions for us, or if any chat's been asking questions, I will gladly answer. I haven't been able to look at chat yet.
I was going to say earlier that chat seemed half and half on whether it was a bird or a baboon. So it's that answer has yet to be truly defined.
Sorry.
I saw one thing in chat. Someone called it a burboon, and that's perfect, honestly.
Burboon! Yes,
Yeah,
it's the
burboon.
baboon.
Yeah, baboon.
Whoever said that, that is now the name. You have solidified yourself in the Flynn history. Burboons.
You pulled a Steve.
Yeah, you pulled a Steve. Which I'm actually pretty sure Steve is actually watching this right now. So
I hope
shouts
he
out
is.
to Steve for the Franklin fish. So this level is actually one of my all-time favorites, design alone. I love the
same,
murkiness
honestly.
of it. And then there's an area where you go outside and it just looks really pretty. I think they did a really good job on the colors in this level. Do we have anything major coming up? I don't. Oh, we have a wolf skip coming up, but I'll explain that when we get there. Otherwise, what was the? I had something I wanted to bring up in this area, but I'm kind of drawing a blank on it. Eden, do you have anything to add right now? Oh, actually, there it was. So while I am in Crimson form, you can actually cancel out of it. If you activate Crimson twice while you're in Crimson form, it just deactivates, but it takes away 3 of your Crimson bars, but leaves 3 of them there. I don't know why this happens, but we use it in certain areas to get to kill enemies really quick, but we save the rest of the Crimson bar so we can fill it up for certain areas. I just did it right there on that night. Oh, what am I doing? I'm going the wrong way. We did it on that night fight that I just went through, but it was really hard to see. So that's what I wanted to explain. So we have a wolf skip coming up right here. We're going to lure another enemy, kind of like the skull skip, but we lure this wolf onto a platform and then we launch off of it and it launches us over a barrier that we're not supposed to be able to cross, leading into the worst fight in the game until we found out you can light them on fire.
Yup. Which is gonna play a more prevalent role in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, so if you light him on fire, it'll actually stun him faster, allowing you to kill him without him teleporting. Because every time you hit him about 3 times, he'll just teleport, and then sometimes he gets stuck in a loop of infinite teleporting, so you're just waiting for him to stop teleporting. And it's an awful fight if you don't burn him.
That fight used to be like high key harder than every other boss in the game. Like we're not even joking about that. Like
because he also shoots homing rounds at you while he's teleporting, so that's really fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so after this level, we're going to be going into what I consider the hardest boss in the entire game. Her name is Imbra, and to give kind of an backstory on some of these bosses, your dog's soul was actually taken and the 4 pieces of it were used to create the bosses. You're gonna see that in one of the levels coming up, actually the next level called Zelok's Laboratory. You're gonna see these broken chambers that kind of look like Mega Man pods that when you get your upgrades. And that's actually what the bosses used to sit in. Right here. Coming up right now, we are going to be heading into the final 3 levels. Funny enough too, there is actually keys in this game for 100% that you can find. This key in this level took me so long to find that I had to wait till a guide was made. Those eyeballs that I just passed inside that wall, if you go up to those eyeballs and talk to them, which I didn't know you could, he'll give you a key. But I had to wait till someone actually found it and made a guide for my normal playthrough, which was really sad of me. All right, hardest boss in the entire game. I'm gonna try to 2-phaser. So to explain this boss, you can't actually attack her until she pulls out her staff. Okay, we're gonna do it. We're gonna go for it. We're gonna go for it. Yes!
Nice!
You never get that. Like, okay.
And what's great?
Yeah, it doesn't.
Flynn's just floating down there and he's soft locked. I can't move him. He just soft locks down there.
Yeah.
It's
nice
incredible.
Job.
Thank you so much. So that's a 2.5 phase. You can actually kill him when he's shooting all that lightning at you, but I call that a 2.5 because you don't let him actually get into his next phase.
Fun fact about the level we're in right now, Case, one of the developers, showed us a theoretical skip where you can just like roll jump and then hit a trigger that like skips this entire level and just goes to the final boss.
Yeah, but
it's impossible.
So far out of reach. You can almost touch it, like a centimeter away, but Flynn doesn't have enough distance to actually touch it.
Yeah.
And I'm not even gonna tell you how much that breaks my heart.
Exactly. We went like that was like what 2.5 weeks ago when he told us about it, and that entire week we were just like doing that, and that's it. Yeah. Okay,
so this is the final boss. We're coming into the final boss area. I will let you know when to time, but we found a trick the other day. It has nothing to do with the run. It doesn't save any time, nothing like that. but I'm gonna try it before I explain it. It's kind of really cool, and it glitches out the final boss.
Yeah. And it was found like yesterday, so.
Yeah, like literally this week after just training forever on this game. Oh, no lightning. We're good. Come on.
And also, this is like one of the only major uses of electric magic in the entire run. Which is
Yeah, so the reason why we
bad.
have electric equipped is because that enemy will spawn with electric, and Z-Lock actually has electric armor that we need to discharge.
Also, Rosia has... I think all of the Rosia fights have electric armor, or I think the last 3 do. But we never see them because the fights are so easy. We're done with them already. So it's like, yeah.
Oh, that was really bad. I messed up my X buttons, but that's fine. We're trying to get the glitch anyways, so that's actually a pretty good setup. So the reason why he sends these enemies down, and the reason why we're trying to kill him as fast as possible, these emblems appear, which as you can see fills up my Crimson Bar really quick. And we need Crimson Bar to actually kill Z-Lock in 2 phases. Oh, this is gonna be bad. Ooh, this is gonna be really bad. Nope, I didn't get the glitch. Okay, so technically what the glitch is, I'm gonna explain this to you. If you hit him with fire, as he leaves the screen, he'll appear on his throne, but he'll also stay on the screen spawning 2 Z-Locks.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And I don't know why it happens, but you'll have 2 bosses on the screen at the same time.
And another fun fact, this is the only major boss in the game that you can set on fire for no reason. Like, you can't do it to any of the other bosses, but you can only do it to Z-Lock. And you can't even do it to Rosie, I think. I think you... Wait, can't. I don't know if you can, but yeah.
You can do it to Rosia.
Oh.
But I don't count her as a boss. No offense to Rosia.
Yeah, those fights are way too easy to be called boss fights.
So as you can see, I'm floating in the air. As explained earlier, as long as I dodge roll into the enemy, I can actually stay floating in the air and just constantly attack.
Yeah. And funny thing, this fight is way easier than the first phase. Like, it's not even close.
Well, ever since we found this out too, it's just trivial.
Yeah.
All right, so time's coming up in a second. And time. Just under 107, like I said.
That's good.
Even after training.
Nice.
Ooh, okay. Thank you guys so much for having me here. That was insane. I am actually really shocked I did this well while explaining the run. Woo! Also, to announce, during practice actually the other day, we broke world record. It is now a 103.57. So we're getting closer and closer to the sub 1 hour.
And this man decided to hide a record from us for like a month. And it's like, why?
I hit a record because I wanted to break world record during the event before I released the actual world record. But because I figured that wasn't going to happen after breaking a 103, I was like, I'm just going to release the time now.
It was like, what was it, like a 104? Like,
it was a 104.22.
I mean, I'm gonna admit, I've done that before, but that was back when like the Hero Mode normal record was like 126. So it's like, doesn't really matter.
So yeah, guys, that was
so.
Flynn. That is the first time we've ever shown off an event. Definitely there's a lot of time saved to be solved. The game isn't fully optimized yet. We do have a very small community. If any of you would like to join our community, you can actually go to speedrun.com, and we have a Discord link right there. And to find us on speedrun.com, it's speedrun.com/FSOC. Really easy to find. We have a very active Discord, just not a lot of active runners. This whole past week, we've had people constantly joining in and giving back feedback, finding new things. It's been absolutely fantastic. You can find me on Twitch under Song of Soil. And then Eden, if you'd like to give your plug as well, that'd be amazing.
And you can find me at twitch.tv/ZX_Eden1.
And I also would like to give some shout outs, but Eden, if you want to start first. Anybody
I
you
don't
want
really
to
have. Because all the shout outs are going to be the same for both of us anyway, so it's like.
Well, I actually have a few. So anyways, I want to thank Thunder Horse, the people who created this game. absolutely amazing people. They are fantastic. I recommend just talking to these people. Case, Emily, Simon, all of them, fantastic. I want to give a huge shout out to also all the runners who have made this very possible and help with routing. You're all crazy amazing. Midnight, you're absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for the invite. I cannot thank you enough.
Of course.
And my parents, who actually are watching this, and they're not gamers, they don't know anything about gaming, but they decided to watch this. Love you both. I'm so glad that you're here. My girlfriend's also watching. Give it out to them. And then to some other speedrunners that have actually encouraged me. Yeats Me Mario, Waifu. Thank you guys so much for always just putting out the best positive stuff ever that keeps runners going. I think you guys had Waifu here doing Gears of War one time. He's an amazing person, one of my idols. But yeah, that's everything. Thank you guys so much for having us here. Seriously, it's been an actual honor.
Yeah, that was a great run too. Fantastic
Thank you so
job.
much. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah. And we're not. Go ahead.
Oh no. Sorry, I was taking a breath. My bad.
Oh, okay. I'll say, any other final shout outs you would all have? Anything else?
No, that's everything. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you all once again for showcasing Flynn, son of Crimson. I'm going to pick up this game. So I'm looking forward to it. We're going to take a small break where we get things set up for our next run, which is going to be Signs of the Sojourner. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Now is a great time, however, to get up, stretch, get some water, go use the restroom, get a blanket, get yourself nice and cozy for Signs of the Sojourner coming up here in just a few. Welcome back to the Bargain Bin show about speedrunning games all under $20. Midnight Vesper still here. Going to showcase another fantastic indie game here in just a second. But first, do not forget Summer Games Done Quick 2022 game submissions are almost closed. They end in just a couple hours. So if you want to get those runs in, just head on over to gamesdonequick.com where all the information is there. And of course, if you're watching us finally on YouTube, you can head on over to twitch.tv/gamesdonequick. If you're interested in looking at our live content starting weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. And don't forget about our highlights channel, Games Done Quick Highlights, which is a channel that features highlights of our GDQ hotfix shows. Just use the !highlights command to learn more about those highlights. And I cannot wait to showcase this next run. Is it Signs of the Sojourner? Is that Sojourner?
I honestly couldn't tell you how to pronounce it. I say Signs of the Sojourner, but I was Googling if I was pronouncing it right when when it got accepted. But yeah, this is Signs of the Sojourner. I'm Pippi in a top hat, or just Pippi, either one works. And this is a really interesting little indie game. It came out in 2020. It is a deck building card game and also a conversation simulator. So it kind of has some elements that feel a little bit like a visual novel. But you don't have to click through any conversations with characters because all your conversations have been replaced with a card game, and it's cooperative. You're playing with an AI, and if you do well at this cooperative card game, then hey, your conversation went well, and you might be better friends with the person that you're talking to. You might get some material gain, which we love. Or you might progress a plot line, all sorts of things. And if you do poorly in a conversation, bad things might happen. We do have a safety save. But this is also not any percent. This is Caravaneer percent, which I will explain more once we get into the run. But just know that our requirements for the run are to stay with the caravan for every possible stop, which will make sense once you can see the game, and also to collect 23 items by the end of the game. And that's about all the forward I had. Anything else, or should I begin?
I think you're ready. Whenever you're ready.
Wonderful. All right, 3, 2, 1, let's go. All right, so we're gonna start out with a tutorial, and it's just gonna show us how to play the card game. I'm sorry for the ASMR of my mouse spam clicking. But this is our childhood friend Elias, and he's gonna show us how to match shapes. So we're really simple, basic concept. You're just matching the left-hand shape of the card that you're playing to the right-hand shape of the card that was played before it. So really, like, easy to pick up, a little bit more complicated than you would think to master. And Elias just didn't have a card to play, and neither do we. So we have failed this conversation, but it's scripted that way, so don't worry. So now my mom is stepping in, and she's gonna teach us how to communicate better because we are quarreling children. That one wasn't scripted, that one's just bad luck. But as you can see, every time we have a mismatch in a chain, we lose one of these little black cubes up here, and if we run out of them, we failed the conversation. Every time we have a correct match or a correct completed chain, we lose one of those little white cubes up there, and when we run out of those, Elias is really not cooperating. If you can't tell, there's a lot of RNG in this run. But if we run out of those, we have succeeded in the conversation, and things can move along. So, hooray, we've succeeded. Our mom has intervened, and now the tutorial is over, and 15 years have passed, and my mom has died. That's the catalyst for the story. It's very unfortunate. But this is still Elias, still our best friend, and we're gonna immediately start trying to manipulate what he's gonna play. We want him to play that card. So that's a card that only Elias has in the entire game. It's called Accommodate, and we want to eventually have at least 2 of them, but we can't get them from anyone else in the game. And they don't have shapes on either side of the card. It's just blank, but it becomes whatever the card before it was. So if you played a double card before it, like these double circles I have, then it's gonna work like it did there. If you played a split card before it, where it's split to 2 different sets of shapes on either half, it's gonna not work. And things working and not working consistently are something we really like. So in the story, as I said, my mom has died. She was the caravaneer coming from this town, and she ran a store in town, and she kind of kept the local economy alive. So now in her absence, we're trying to make a plan to save our little hometown of Bartow, and our plan is that I am going to go join the caravan and walk in my mom's footsteps, while Elias is going to stay home and run the store. And this is Nadine. We're going to be talking to her a lot. She runs the caravan, and because of that, she's going to be telling us how to navigate about the world. So we haven't left Bartow yet. You'll see the world map in just a moment. So a lot of the conversations that we are forced to take, we are taking because we're going to be getting a path that's going to let us walk around the map more freely. There's also a mechanic that you might have noticed called a chord, which I will get into more later. It's a little bit more complicated. But basically, if you play 4 of the same shape in a row in a conversation, you get like a backstop. So you can get 1 mismatch for free, and it only takes you back to the backstop. We got good RNG. I didn't want to curse it, saying that this is one of the most scary pieces of RNG in the run, is right here. This is Pachenko. There's an option of 3 characters who can appear here. 2 of them we love, 1 of them we can't stand. But this is Isabella, and Isabella is probably the ideal one of those. She's gonna have nice short conversations, go very quick, very easy, and also she has a chance to give us a card that we really want to see. I don't think she's gonna give it to us this time. That's fine, we can make do without it. But she's also gonna give us an item. And as I said, we need 23 items cumulatively by the end of the route. Oops, sorry. I'm a little bit jittery and nervous, so my clicking might be a little bit all over the place. And now we're talking to Nadine again, and here's a fun fact. Nadine doesn't care if we're kind to her. So we can just be rude in almost every conversation with Nadine, and being rude is really fast. And Nadine doesn't care as long as we're good at our job. So as long as we have those 23 items at the end of the route, she will let us become a permanent caravaneer, which is our true goal, and keep Bartow on the caravan route. She doesn't care if every time we go up to her, we just go, no, and then walk away. So we also got decent RNG here. RNG doesn't matter as much here. But this is Ramir. Ramir, we're not going to see much during this run. But basically, Ramir is a member of the caravan, and right now, he's trying to find out if we'll be his friend so that he can ask us a favor later on. And we don't want him to ask us a favor because that takes time. So we just fail out of this as fast as possible. And the card that I played just there is basically, if you play any other deck builder, it would be considered a curse card or just a dead card. It doesn't match with anything. It's called Fatigue, and you passively accrue them as you travel around the world. This is Alexis, by the way. We're trying to buy nuts from them, and they're being a little bit rude, but that's okay. Well, we'll get through this. But yeah, so Fatigue will slowly populate your deck more and more, and being able to sort of accommodate for how much fatigue you're gonna get is an important part of managing what's gonna be in your deck later on. So right now we only have the one, and it's kind of useful because we can do things like we did with Ramir and just play Fatigue, we're done. We're done with that conversation. We're moving on. And looks like Alexis was being nice to us too. So there we go. We have a second item to sell in the shop. Elias gave us a sort of temporary mission to, to pick up 3 items for the shop within this circuit of the world. There will be 5 circuits of the world. Confusingly, they count down backwards in the game. I don't know why. And that is RNG whether or not you get one of those. They pop up from time to time, but that one gets rid of the fatigue. So our deck has no fatigue. We're super energetic. And now we're moving on to Bukamboro. And this is going to be my first, hopefully, card with text. As you can see, they're still kind of introducing game elements slowly. And she played one. We're hoping she plays one in orange as well. But it's called a reconsider, and it basically is just discard and redraw your whole hand, which is great for when you start to get a ton of fatigue in your deck. You can get rid of all that, and there we go. Look at that, cooperating. Love you, Matilde. So, as you probably noticed, every time and that's another item. Every time I finish a conversation, I am forced to pick up a card and also put down a card. And the cards I put down, I never see again. There's no way to go back and change what I put down. So your deck is constantly cycling and constantly changing, and you're always going to be changing for what you need for the next area to come, which is one of the reasons why I really like this as a deck builder and as a speed game, is that there's no god RNG. There's no perfect deck you can build because you're constantly going to be changing it, and you're constantly going to be adding things for this amount of time and then taking them out, and there's a lot of analysis that goes into that. This is Totsuto, and he's going to be our first person who speaks with different shapes. So he's going to kind of start introducing us to the outside world of eventually we're going to have to switch over our deck to accommodate different shapes because we don't have anything that starts with diamonds. We haven't seen diamonds before. So what do we do with that? We just have to mismatch for now. Get that out of my hands too. And it's okay if we fail this conversation. Honestly, we have plenty more, we have plenty more items that we don't need to get. Oh, excuse me. We don't need to get every single one. But as everything's accumulative, it does help us quite a bit to have more items at the beginning so that at the end we can be more selective when the game sort of requires less conversations. And hey, Totsuto was nice. And so we can cut out more conversations entirely and save a lot of time, honestly. So we're gonna pick up that blue diamond, and I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do with it really quick. But first we have to talk to Nadine. Nadine is telling us how to get home because we're too new to the caravan to experience the whole caravan route. So she's sending us home early. But that's okay because, well, that worked. Because we don't care about going with the caravan route always, only whenever the game allows us to. because otherwise that would be a little bit silly. So we're just gonna move right along and head back home to Bartow, and just like that, Circuit 1 is done. Almost. We do have 2 more conversations to go back at Bartow. So a lot of the early part of this game is all about preparing for this place over here, Old Moray. Old Moray has a security guard at the front named Gull, and the Gull conversation is the hardest in the game. It's mandatory, and if you do not succeed, Gull is gonna tell you, go home. You're not welcome in my city. And we're gonna be upset about that. So we wanna fill our deck with as much as possible of blue diamonds and purple squares, even though they're not useful in any of the world we've seen so far, just so that we're ready for Gull. So I took that conversation with the Stranger, and the Stranger is an interesting character in that you cannot win with him at the beginning. The game actually intends for you to not interact with him on early playthroughs and wait until later playthroughs and then hold off interacting with him until the end of the game when you can talk to him so you can learn lore stuff, and I won't spoil anything more than that. But we just kind of throw that out the window, and we talk to him here and then we talk to him never again because we just wanted his card, and I'll show you what we're gonna do with it. We're gonna use it to just a little bit manipulate what cards the AI is gonna play, because the AI is a little bit smart. The AI is not gonna play cards that it has in its hand that are intentionally a mismatch. Usually, I think I've seen it do it once, but I think only the child characters can do that, which is really interesting flavor flick, because they don't know how to communicate as well. It's kind of cute. But Elias just gave us another item. Thank you, Elias. And we get our second accommodate. And now we're gonna unpack and we're gonna see all our items. So we should have 5, and indeed we do. I'm just gonna write that down so I don't do my math wrong later. But so we're gonna try out kind of exploit the AI, because Nadine has a card in her deck that we know she has, but we're not really supposed to know she has because there's supposed to be no good reason for her to play it, because it won't match with anything we have, because we're supposed to still speak like we're from Bartow, and people from Bartow talk with the orange circles and the green triangles. But we're just going to manipulate that a little bit by doing something unexpected. So I'm gonna get in a chord and then break it with that. And there we go. That is the card that we wanted to pick up. We're gonna try to get 2 of them before we get to Gull, because that card can be used on whatever Gull can throw at us. And the Gull fight is really rough. You can't tell because I call it a fight instead of a conversation like the rest of them are. So sometimes the RNG will just still tell you no. You'll just have too much fatigue by chance and draw it all at the wrong time. And if that happens, that's what the safety save is for. It's gonna keep us alive. So we're never gonna go out of our way to talk to Elias again, which is kind of sad because I know Elias is one of the fan favorite characters in this game. But it's fine, and somehow at the end we wind up being friends with him anyway, so that's okay. But here we are, we're back at the beginning of the circuit again. So we're gonna talk to Isabella again, and we're gonna see if she'll give me that card I wanted last time that she didn't give me. Let's see if she'll do it. So I kind of want pretty much every conversation to be leaning more into orange circles at this point, because I know that once I get into Aldhurst and Romina, there's the card I wanted. That's Clarify. Clarify lets me play cards out of order, which is great for when I'm switching my deck over. And it's also a nice fast ability. We're gonna take that. So we want in general for people to be using more orange circles than green triangles, because once we get to Aldhurst and Romina, which are the next areas we're gonna have to go to, green triangles are off the table, and we need to be updated to talk like the people from Aldhurst and Romina. And here we are actually talking to no one, because the plot of this area is that Alexis, who sold us nuts last time, they got robbed. So they can't sell us nuts now. All of their inventory was taken. And if we talk to them, they're gonna give us a quest to go and find the robber who took all their stuff, and that's slow. We don't need more quest lines. There is a different ending for that. And if you would like to see it, I very much encourage you to. It's one of my favorite endings, but that's for a casual playthrough. So here we are, we're talking to Matilda again. I'm gonna see if I can get another reconsider, because it's always nice to have. Can do that. Nope, she didn't give it to us, so that's fine. We just move on. But what is kind of nice about this is she gave me a path that I don't care about. That's just wastes a little bit of time. A lot of the consideration of what conversations you pick later on will be trying to mitigate getting paths, but we really can't avoid ever talking to Matilda again, and she'll always try to give you the path. But yeah, it worked out very well, because we picked up her orange card, and now we have no more green in our deck. So we have nothing junking it up for now talking to the people who want orange and blue. So I'll take this opportunity to talk a little bit about accords, because it's some of the most interesting sort of strategy that goes into the game, and something that makes it really interesting in terms of like a speed game as well, is that accords only happen if you get 4 in a row, and also 1 comes from each player. So if somehow I manage to play 2 in a row that are both doubles, I don't get an accord. I'm just talking to myself. But if we each put forth a double, then we get an accord. Accords, as I said, are very helpful. They're good for safety. In the goal fight, we're going to be leaning on them a lot. But they're also a little bit slow, because if we have an accord at the end there, right, like we got there, it's going to play this little animation that you're going to see in just a moment. That one, that's going to tell us basically that, good job, your accord has been carried over to the next one. We don't want that. So it's good for safety, but it's a little bit slow. On the last chain of a conversation, it doesn't matter. The accord doesn't add an extra animation. But, so it's a little bit of playing the odds of, do you think you need it or don't you? That was Rohit, by the way, who we didn't talk to. Rohit is the person who is brought onto the caravan after us, and is a lovely character. We never talked to him in this run. So now we're gonna go talk to Nadine, and we're actually gonna try to manipulate her a little bit again. This game might be social manipulation, the speedrun. It's fine. So we're gonna completely disregard whatever it gave us as a starting card and say, hey, I want that blue one. She did not have it. We can try. We cannot try. Just kidding. Sometimes you can sort of try one more time. But that's a card that we definitely want to get out of our deck. I'm actually going to take an extra conversation here, just because we haven't taken a lot of extra conversations, and this is going to hopefully give us another double blue card that will make our deck a little bit nicer going into gold. Game has a lot of really quick decision making, which makes it a really interesting and unique speed run. You never quite know what you're gonna get until like you're actively in it. So that ability is a new one. It's called Backtrack, and it's going to, if it causes a mismatch, it's going to reset not to the beginning of the conversation, but to the last part when it would have been playable, or to the last accord, whichever it finds first. Not super useful in the speedrun, but an interesting mechanic. As you can see, it gets a little bit harder to try to, what I usually do at the beginning, you might have seen me doing, is trying to not let those accords happen at the end of a chain by intentionally playing split cards, because that way I don't have to watch the animation of them breaking, and I don't have to watch the animation of it being carried over. It just kind of expires and you're done with it. However, since we're towards the point in the game where the cards we play matter a little bit more and we need some more safety, we unfortunately don't get to partake in as much of that time save. This is also a really interesting card. It's called Elaborate, and it does have one shape on each side, not like the Accommodate, which has nothing. Ooh. Sure, we definitely want that. That's just gonna be a single use accord. The next time we play the card we put it on, it's going to put up its own accord. And it's only used once, but it's great. So here's the goal fight. Let's see how we do. I will let you know if we need a safety save. Looking good so far. Because that one was gonna break my accord anyway. Oh, just kidding. Maybe you're not looking good. So that's a little bit scary. We haven't necessarily, no. We have lost this fight, but there's one more thing we can try before we have to revert to a safety save. Which is opening the menu, quitting to main menu, and reopening the fight. It's not gonna reshuffle our RNG, so we're gonna still unfortunately have that hand that's full of fatigue. This is what I said, that you can't perfectly prepare to the goal fight. This is kind of something that kills a lot of runs. But we have to be sure on this one that we're making different choices than we did the first time, so that we see different cards. It's interesting because it kind of forces you to make decisions that don't feel entirely correct. As you can see, the outcome is the same. So I'm going to switch us over to a safety save that I know can get past this. So you can leave the timer running if you want, but I just have to quit out of the game real fast because this game unfortunately only supports one save. So if you'll give me one moment.
Yeah, definitely. The artwork in this is just really unique. I love the artwork throughout all of this, though.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Like, the artwork's gorgeous. I'm such a fan of the music. I'm sorry if I've been talking over the music, but it is beautifully done. Echo Dog Games, who made this game, did an amazing job, and deserve all the accolades for it, honestly. Okay, let's get the game reopen and make sure that that's working. Whoop. Can we see in here again?
Yep.
All right, perfect. Ignore all that. We totally did it. We got through the goal fight. My deck's a little bit different now, but it's mostly gonna be the same. It's mostly gonna have the same cards. We're gonna talk to Dan. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Again, with Signs of the Sojourner, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce anything, but I like to pronounce it Dan because I find it amusing. Whoop. And there's a little bit of a, oh, he's just gonna finish the conversation for us. That's a card called Chatter. It just lets him play cards more than once in a row. As I said before, Chatter's not going to give you things like a chord, but it is good for just finishing out a conversation. And now we have the Chatter. We have that ability. This is Talia. This is an actual more important conversation because she's going to give us the path forward. And then we're almost out of the gauntlet. We'll have all the paths we need to complete the run. And then I can stop front-loading all the information onto you. We can stop to smell the roses and talk about how beautiful this game is. But Talia's also gonna give us an item. I'll have to double check and update my item tally, but we should still be good. So we're trying to get to Anka over there. And Anka speaks with the purple squares and the green triangles back again because it sort of makes a loop. However, when we're going to Anka, we don't actually need the final path. And depending on who we get on RNG, we might go for it, we might not. So I just didn't like my hand. So if we don't get the final path, then we don't actually have to talk to anyone in Anka, and we can just show up and then leave and then go start our next part of our journey. And also meet the best character in the game. We haven't met the best.
Fast.
Yes.
Sorry. If you get a second, if you could add the back in-game audio, because apparently it's not going through there.
Did it not work? I'm so sorry. Let me double check that. Says it should be going through. No. Oh, or all of OBS just froze. That's interesting. That's concerning. I'm not quite sure what to do about that.
Yeah, we're going to take a small little break where we go ahead and fix this technical issue. Chat, just stay tuned. Welcome back. Thank you so much for being patient while we go through some of the technical issues. It seems as though our issues have been resolved. Pippi, if you want to go ahead and take control.
Yeah. All right. Let's bring back the timer in 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, it would be a very different experience to play this game without the music for sure. Honestly, the music is one of the things that really drew me to this game. I could sit there and listen to it for literal hours and not get tired of it. And now I have in learning the speedrun for it. All right, so now we're back on our way. We're getting our items. We're all set to go. We're not talking to Oscar. I'm so sorry. Oscar is also a lovely character. It's so heartbreaking to know all of these characters and to love them all, and the story is so well written. If you've never heard of this game or never played this game, I so highly recommend it as a casual experience. I cried the first time. And I also very much recommend it as a speed run. If there's anybody with any interest of running it, reach out to me and I'll help you as much as I can. Decided to try to go for getting the extra route because that character is sometimes amenable, but she was not today. So that would give us a connection between Anka way up here and Bukamboro way down here, which would mean that once we get to the end of the month, which for some reason has 50 days instead of a normal number of days for a month, our truck is gonna break down and we're gonna get teleported back to Bartau. And if we took that extra route, our truck would not break down. So this is Thunder. Thunder's the best character in the game. I promised dog and I have delivered dog. I just only used fatigues to talk to Thunder, and Thunder did not care. Thunder just is happy that somebody wants to talk to him and is giving him attention. He does not care what you say. So all conversations with Thunder succeed. We got 6 items there.
Thunder was so cute.
He's wonderful, and he is a required part of the speedrun. We will be seeing him more. He's great. He also, if we encounter him as somebody we can interact with and we have fatigue in our deck, he's just gonna take that fatigue out of our deck because it's hard to be tired when there's a good dog sitting next to you. we're just gonna take this extra conversation with Nadine. There's nothing forcing us to, but it's gonna help us change up the cards in our deck a little bit, and we could use that. So we're just gonna grab one of those nice double greens. I also want to draw attention to just the art on Thunder. Like, he's got such a good little dog face. People laugh at all the time. He'll come on screen and I'll just like tilt my head back at him and kind of like have a discussion with the dog.
Aww.
He's a wonderful friend. So as you can see, I skipped some of those like random encounters along the road. This RNG file started with Tomas, also a fine place to start, also a wonderful character. He just wants to make art, and he wishes art had less politics involved. Yeah, I didn't take some of them at the end because I knew that we were going back to Bartow, and every time you go back to Bartow, all your fatigue gets wiped because you're not homesick anymore. You went home. But I will take it towards the beginning of the routes especially because, hey, like, it might be something great. It might save me a lot of time later on just by making my deck better, more consistent, whatever it is. And this is kind of where things settle into a pattern for a little while, which is nice. It's gonna be a bit before they try to shake it up on us again. Alexis has restocked, so we can actually talk to Alexis again. And Alexis also has this fun little feature, There's Thunder, that if you have talked to them before, you can actually fail this conversation, and they will give you their goods to sell in your store anyway, which is great and fast. However, I don't remember the RNG seed for this one, for this run, because we switched over to the safety save, if it started with Alexis or the other option, so we're just gonna play it safe. But we will get to fail later on with Alexis and still get their products. Also, they stopped selling nuts because nuts are outdated. They're selling crickets now. So we're gonna sell crickets in our store. Nothing could go wrong.
That's a transition.
Yeah. We're not going to talk to Thunder there. Oh, and they gave us a path. That sometimes happens randomly. We actually really appreciate that one because it's going to be a little fast. That effect we got right there is called Observe. It lets us see our opponent's hand. Really helpful, unfortunately slow. So, you don't really need it. That's Miriam. We're not talking to her ever again. Ever, actually. Again, lovely character. I feel so bad cutting her out of the run, but in the name of speed, you know? But while we're in a more of a chill place, now that we've gotten through the beginning of the run, do you have any questions? Are there any thoughts from chat? I would love to know.
Chat's been enjoying this. Chat's been all about the animation and the chat and the top hat. That's been coming up quite a lot.
Thank you. I do actually have, like, there's a whole display of them behind me. I don't know if you can see them. I have a lot of them. I definitely agree, though, that the animation in this game, the artwork in general, like, again, so pretty. It's got such a unique art style too, of like, I never think to draw a character like this, but they have so much personality to them. We're actually gonna skip any other conversations available here because they're gonna, if we talk to them, they'll give us the longest path in the game. It draws a line basically from one end of our map to the other, and that's a bit of a waste of time, especially since we would never take that path because we're sticking wherever the caravan goes and the caravan's not taking that silly path. So he's the only one we get to talk to here. The Pickle Man is chill. He doesn't tell us about how to get places. He's only concerned with pickles. As you can see, he's very knowledgeable. He wears a little pickle patch on him. Were there any other thoughts or questions?
One did pop up about the top hats. How hard or easy is it to find them?
Surprisingly easy, honestly. I just kind of like at some point start passively accruing. I think I bought the first one I ever got at a Ren fair, and since then, it's just every time I see one, I'm like, ooh, and they're like never expensive. It's weird, but you know what? I'll take it. Yes, go for it.
Yeah. So I know you're, I believe, PC on this. So is this available on any other? Is it on console or is it on Game Pass or anything else? Where is this available for anyone that's interested in playing it?
To my knowledge, it's only available on PC and also Switch. I haven't played the Switch port personally, but that also sounds like such a chill experience of being able to do this on the go. That sounds wonderful to me. I don't believe it's on any other major consoles, but I know that the Switch port did come out not too long ago. So, I don't know, they might surprise us.
So, follow-up, is the soundtrack somewhere? Because I'm kind of really, really enjoying the soundtrack. It's very chill.
It is. It's beautiful. And that's the song for that area is one of my favorites. The soundtrack, I believe, is available on Steam as an add-on purchase for a couple dollars, and it would push it over the $20 mark, but you know what? Personally, I think it's worth it.
I think it's worth it, yeah.
I think it's a beautiful soundtrack. As you can see, we're talking to Gull again, and it was another forced interaction, but this one we're actually allowed to lose because she's not upset with us this time. You remember Ramir, who we refused to do favors for at the beginning? Ramir, it turns out, is a smuggler, and is trying to smuggle things into Old Marais. So she's not concerned with us, she's concerned with Ramir right now, and if we fail this conversation, Ramir gets sent to jail. So we're currently trying to lie to hopefully not get one of our parties sent away. Because it's a speedrun though, it's okay that if he gets sent to jail. We don't really mind. It's unfortunate to say, but again, a little bit socially manipulative. But hooray! We succeeded in talking to Gull, and now we can go in, and also Ramir can go with us. We can actually talk to him, and he has a chance to give us some really interesting cards, which we'll not say no to. But also, he'll give us an item in thanks. And that was the interesting card we wanted. Those double ones are really strong and really good to have in your deck, because they're some of the only ones that are hardly ever worth removing. But he was just really grateful. Ooh, don't do that. He used it twice? That never happens. Man, Ramir really wanted to prove his utility to me after I just kind of dissed him and said that we didn't care about him. And I feel great remorse now.
So when you said that never happens...
Yeah.
Have you seen that happen before?
Well, that's also an interesting thing of, I may have seen that happen before because it doesn't change much, so it's not a huge difference. I'm actually gonna do something slow real quick and count my items, just because we're being safe here, and so we should have 6, which we're gonna take an extra conversation just cause safety. I want to make sure I'm doing my math right. I want us to actually get to see the ending. But if you'll notice there, he used it twice, which hardly ever happens, but then it didn't give me the option to pick it up. So we did actually get the card. Which, a little unfortunate. Wasn't expecting that.
How rude.
Yeah. He just wanted to taunt us. Bit of a, you know, we're being a little bit socially manipulative. I guess Ramir can too. I guess I can forgive him. He did still give me the item though, which I do like having. We're just gonna talk to Talia real quick because she's a short conversation that we can take right now, and she's gonna give us some fish pie, I believe, to sell. And now y'all are gonna have to tell me because I am a person who's never eaten fish. Does fish pie usually look at the shape of a fish? Like,
That's a question for chat because I don't normally do fish as well.
yeah, I always wonder. Like I've never been offered a fish pie before. You know? But yeah, I guess with the rest of the more chill time, we can talk to Thunder. We can talk to Thunder.
You should always talk to Thunder.
Look how good he is. He's just looking at us. But with the rest of our kind of chill time before it shakes it up on us, I guess I can talk about also what the shapes sort of represent, because the shapes are all representative of different sort of methods of speech or like rhetorical devices. So when we're in Bartow and we're talking with circles, those are supposed to be being empathetic and being kind of observant. Oh, and this is a required conversation with Thunder.
Yeah, more Thunder.
More Thunder. The last one was for safety. This one is 100% the fastest thing to do. Also, I like to think that if you accommodate talking to Thunder, that you woofed back. Because look, I used the paw prints. So Thunder just gave us one of the fastest items in the game.
Go Thunder. Such a good doggo.
Yeah, he's always looking out for us. But yeah, so the circles are us being empathetic and observant, and the triangles are us being logical and diplomatic. So if you put those together, that's how people talk in Bartow. It's a pretty slow pace, but we're plotting, we're logical. And then as you move through the world, you lose... Oh, look at all those items. That's good. We are right where we're supposed to be on items. But as you move throughout the world, you lose the more logical rhetoric, and you gain the blue diamonds, which are creative and industrious. And then you lose the more empathetic and observant, and you gain the squares, which are being forceful. And each of the sort of portions of like rhetoric kind of makes sense with where they're used. Like the people who live in the city have a very forceful way of speaking because everything's moving very fast. Kind of have to like put what you want out there very quickly. Whereas here in Bartow, things are very laid back. We all take care of each other type of thing. And now you might see right here, nope, Elias didn't use it. What just happened was called the Cataclysm. There was basically a huge earthquake. And everything's in shambles. So the caravan never showed up. Unfortunate. And people are a little concerned. So since we can't travel with the caravan on this route, our job is to find the caravan. But we're gonna start as if the caravan were here, and we're just gonna go to Pachenko, chat with Isabella and Tomas, make sure that they're doing okay. The plot in Pachenko is about Marquez is starting a cult of artists. I'm not quite sure what that means.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Isabella and Tomas don't like this, and Isabella's actually asking me right now to talk to Tomas and convince Tomas that he should probably move, because he's like a big rising star here in Pachenko, and it would be a huge hit to the art cult if they didn't have him. And like lovely enough. Doing that works out to be part of the fastest route, so we will complete his plot line. Can't be said for everyone. There's a ton of endings in this game. I haven't even seen them all. And like so many of them, you just like there's some that are mutually exclusive. You have to take only that ending if you go with it. And you get to just see, where one character is coming from and their ideal ending, even if it's not ideal for everyone else. So definitely recommend this game as a casual experience. It just kind of becomes a sandbox. If you don't have to stay with the caravan, you can just kind of go anywhere. And we're not going to talk to Marquez because art cult is weird.
Chat's a little confused by that as well. Also,
yeah.
Chat did say fish pie is a thing and that you can turn it into a fish.
Wow, I have learned today.
There was a whole thing in chat, so it was mixed, but I'm going from what chat's saying here.
I will believe you. I'm trusting you, chat, okay? But we have found the caravan. We found Nadine. They got stuck here in Clifton. It took me a moment to remember what the location was called. We don't spend a lot of time here. But we found the caravan now, so we can start heading back to Bartow. We're gonna real quick talk to Alexis first, because Alexis is quick to talk to. But we have successfully found the caravan. We did what we set out to do on this mission. And the caravan's still not gonna move, so we have essentially traveled with them wherever possible. Route is happy with that, we move on. Alexis apparently not so much happy. Alexis is still selling crickets. That's the update from Alexis. Alexis has their own little corner of the world. I appreciate them a lot.
I'm just waiting for the moment to where someone in chat says they have an Echo Dot.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry if your Echo Dot tries to order you crickets off the internet. Like, that would be the worst timeline. As you can see, people are occasionally using these little pink spirals to talk, and those are not location specific. Those are meant to be like grieving or pain. And so it's kind of is a sort of sweet statement on how pain is a universal language. No matter where we come from, we all kind of understand and have empathy for people who are in a rough spot. And the more you travel around, especially on that loop, you meet more and more people who are having a real rough go of it. We're gonna, since we skipped a lot of that route, we're not gonna see a ton more of it, but we will eventually see some more places that would have it, depending on where they are. The cataclysm hits differently in different places. So Bartow is a little beat up, but they're kind of banding together to keep it alive. Same you saw with Clifton, sort of same with Chenko. Meanwhile, Old Beret is just kind of having like revolution and rioting in the streets right now. And unfortunately, we're not gonna help. Because, I'm sorry, I have a speed run to go on. But now we're back on the last trip, and the last trip's gonna be a little bit more normal. We're just gonna stay with the caravan the whole time, and hope we get to see Thunder one more time in a specific location, because Thunder is the best dog. Sadly, this is not the location. We don't have fatigue in our deck, so it'd just be really slow to talk to Thunder here. But, yeah. But there is one more location where we're hoping he's gonna show up. And if there were like a world record attempt, I would bank my entire run on Thunder showing up and giving me an item, which there's a small chance he just doesn't show up another time where we need him to. So if he doesn't, then the run's just lost and you failed at getting 23 items. But because this is not a world record attempt, we're actually going to go out of our way and get extra items, just in case. So one of them is right here. Isabella is happy because we told Tomas to move. The art cult has been, I don't know, unseated from their reign of terror. I don't know what an art cult does.
I don't know either, and I'm kind of afraid to research.
Yeah. I'm not sure how they terrorize the people, but we brought Tomas there, and now we're not going to talk to him because, unfortunately, he really wants to talk to us, and he wants to talk about how happy he is, and we're like, no, we're moving on. But here, we're going to talk to Alexis, and we're just going to fail. Failure is the name of the game, because Alexis has, if you'll notice, also moved. Alexis used to be in Clifton, and now they have gone to Bucamboro. But they're back selling nuts again, and they're really happy with where they are in life. So they want to talk to us all about it, but they're in such an unshakably good mood that they're just going to give us produce no matter what we do. So cool. We're also going to take this one extra conversation, again for safety, and talk to Nadine, because unfortunately Mathilde is indisposed at the moment. One of her friends died, and she is grieving over it, so she will not be giving us an item, which we very much understand, but Nadine will give us an item instead to make up for it. So we just have a little switch over at the end. That, by the way, is one of the most beautifully written parts of the game. If you get to befriend Mathilde. There's also a route where you get to betray Mathilde. Broke my heart.
I've noticed a lot of these have like really kind of casual indie games have some amazing writing to them.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. A little bit about me is I'm actually a creative writing grad student, and I started playing games on stream to talk about the writing and to see more writing in games. My sibling actually brought this game to my attention, and I fell in love with. There's so many things that it does. That if anybody's familiar with the term ludonarrative consistency, basically when the flavor of a game matches up with the writing really well and with the gameplay, it just works cohesively. Oh, we did not get the other Thunder interaction. I'm very sad about this. It's okay. We can sneak out and pet Thunder one more time if we can. But this game is so good about that. Of every piece of writing just makes sense on a gameplay level, makes sense on a written level. Flavorfully is very cute. Character-wise works. Just there's so much detail in it, and huge shout out to Echo Dog who made this game. I believe this was their first title. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. And I know for the very least I'm here for life. I want to know everything else they make. It's a beautifully written game. So now we have the deadline. Nadine's gonna check in with us and let us know if we did it or not. And our hand is gross. And I usually try to succeed in this conversation just because it makes it easier to tell and make sure that you did win. But you can actually fail it. And it won't change the outcome. So it would be not a terrible thing. Oh, well, that's convenient for us. That's gonna work. And there we go. That was an interesting conversation. That was a lot of fatigue in my hand. And there we go. I know the final line by sight is Bartow has our support. That means we did it, guys. We did it. The caravan is staying. We've saved our town. Elias is very happy about it. We might fail this conversation with Elias, though, just because our deck's full of fatigue. Elias, though, is very accommodating. So, as you can see, he uses those accommodates. So usually he's pretty good about it. But, again, this conversation doesn't really matter, so... I don't actually recall if it makes you not friends with him at the end if you fail that. I think he's still my friend. Just unpack our last items. There's actually going to be one more conversation. There's going to be a little picture and then a time skip. Yep, Elias decided to leave the shop because we failed that conversation, and that's okay. He's not a requirement of the route, so... But we're going to still talk to him 10 years later. He's still our friend. He's just not our business partner. But we're going to talk to him. And at the end of this conversation, we end time on last input, which is when there's going to be a little green circle in the corner that just is like the progress button next to the title of the conversation. And when I push that, we're done. And we have set out we have accomplished what we set out to do. And this is a great time to point out that, like, one of the wonderful things about, like, the flavor of you being a caravaneer is that you really grow to be such a worldly person. And you can tell my deck is so different from when I started. And uses so many different things. And that's time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That was Signs the Sojourner. I know my time's not gonna be super accurate, but what am I at? Really? Oh, awesome! That was not as bad as I thought it would be. Well, that was Signs the Sojourner. Are there any final questions on that? Well, we enjoy the music.
It's so hard because the music is just so calming. I did notice, did your main character have, like, cat ears the whole time? I wanted to ask about that, but...
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why. I didn't learn until I was like, I have made, if anybody's interested, that's available on speedrun.com. There's a guide for how to do this route that tells you a breakdown of every conversation, step by step, and like what strategies are most effective. And I went on the Wikia to find some, double check some information for making the guide, and I found out that not only does your character, I always just assumed was you, but no, they have a canonical name and a canonical gender apparently, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess I wasn't just me with cat ears.
I love the credits with all the pets and stuff like that too. That was so cute.
They're beautiful.
Yes. So if you want to talk about the community, if anyone was watching and they're like, ooh, I really want to get involved with the game, want to learn more about the speedrun, where would they go?
So we don't have too much of a community at the moment because really speedrunning this game was a lot of my own effort. I did all the routing for it and planning of the runs and everything like that. So a community is waiting to be born, kind of. If this looked interesting to anybody, as I said, there's a guide that's very in-depth on speedrun.com. It should just be speedrun.com/signsthesojourner with underscores between the words. And you can look through there, or you can reach out to me. I play this on stream all the time. So a lot of my little community are very used to seeing me pet Thunder, and are pretty knowledgeable. And I would love to have more people to work with on this. And like, it's come a long way. It's come, I think, since the first routed version was at about an hour and 20 minutes, and now the world record is sub 50. So
wow,
it's really dropped off like a half hour, and I would love to see it pushed further. Honestly.
I can see chat is very encouraging of individuals, especially you, Pippi. Chat is very encouraging and cheering you on about the whole thing. So if anyone was interested in following you, where would they go?
I can be found on right here on twitch.television. Twitch.tv/Pippi in a top hat is where I am most active. And I speedrun Signs of the Sojourner. I'm always looking for also other little projects to run. I have a couple things in the works. And I also do Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes challenge bombs at the moment. Which are also their own world of like interesting strategy. So come stop by. I would love to have you.
Yeah. Any other final comments that you'd like to say?
I would love to, again, just shout out to Echo Dog Games. They also have a Discord server. As you can see up here, you can join their Discord server, which is a great way to talk to other fans, talk to me. The devs are in there. People have discussions about the writing in there all the time, and it makes me really happy. But also, I would just like to extend a huge thank you both to you and also to GDQ for having me, and also for being here, because honestly, GDQ has been such a big and important part of my life for years before I was a runner. And I think GDQ does a ton of good, and I'm so honored to be able to be a part of it in this little way.
Well, thank you for coming out and showcasing this amazing, amazing run.
Thank you so much.
Yes. And while the bargain bin may be closing its doors for tonight, don't worry. We still have some amazing stuff coming up here in just a little bit. We have speedruns from the Crypt coming up next. We're showcasing Silent Hill 2. It's going to be a fantastic evening, but now's a great time to get up, stretch, get some water, use the restroom, all that fun stuff while we get everything set in stone for speedruns from the Crypt. You all have a fantastic night and stay tuned.